JC didn't make it on the. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream, pre-stream. That's right. You're here just a little bit early because you are the few, the dedicated, you had nothing better to do than to tune in, but we're glad you're here. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to get started in a minute or so. So stick around. Just a reminder, you YouTube viewers, you will be getting half of the show today over on YouTube. But on the second half of the show, feel free to jump over to one of our alternative platforms so you can catch the rest of the show. Remember, Twitch, DLive, Rumble, Odyssey, all over the place, baby. Go to canarycry.party. To check that out. And for those of you who are signing up to, who have signed up to the text message alert system, hope you're liking it. I'm having fun sending out texts to you guys. And I hope you find it helpful. We'll find out. We'll see how many people actually show up to the show who got the text. And if you out there would like to receive text notifications for the show going live, we have experienced some soft censorship of the notifications not being sent out by the big tech platforms, and people are missing the show. So we have instigated a direct text message alert system, and if you'd like to sign up for that, just text Canary to a phone number, which will be, which I don't have memorized. What is it? It's 877. Here we go. 877-740-3226. 877-740-3226. Text Canary to that number. You'll see it on the screen here once the show starts. All right, everybody, stay hydrated, buckle your seatbelts. Let's go.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is February 21st, 2022. We are live to tape on episode 449. And today, Morning Leaf. And Razzle Dazzle, I'm your best buddy Basil.
And this is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And we're here, we're back. We'll catch up with all the weekend fun in a little bit, but we're just going to jump right in to...
What's that lead story, baby?
The truckers, man.
Woo!
This is Rubber Ducky. What's your 1020, over?
Chuck you. We got us a convoy, over.
This is... Fox News, Canada Freedom Convoy, nearly 100 vehicles towed amid Ottawa police crackdown.
Yeah.
Authorities have arrested nearly 200 people and threatened financial sanctions and criminal charges for protesters. Got a couple videos from Fox, and this first one, about a minute and a half, it starts off with a kind of like a personal interest story, which is, it's good on Fox, to really highlight the individuals that are getting discriminated. They start off with they're actually interviewing another guy here named Joe Warmington from Canada. He's a reporter. But before that, they play this clip of I think her name is Tammy Giuliani. She was harassed for donating to the truckers convoy. I think $25.
She's the shop owner?
Yeah, that got the sign put on. Yeah. So they talk about that. Well, they clip her and then they go into the conversation here. But okay, just to set it up.
We have been called terrorist for the first 36 hours. We were inundated with hatred, with threats of violence. People threatened our team on the phone, telling them we're coming to get you. Our rural shop out in Merrickville, Ontario, someone draped a large bed sheet over our sign. I'm sorry. It's been a tough few days, and I think, and the sign read, "Tammy supports terrorists."
Joe, you're like our friendly neighbor to the north, and what you hear from that woman, right, is how her own people have turned on her, and this has been a stunning development for many people there in Canada.
Well, Canada is a police state at this time, and that's what it's like inside of a police state. There is no rule of law. It's now in the hands of what they call the Emergency Act, which is the War Measures Act. So, people like her that were doxxed and all the different things that we've seen, just for donating $25 to the truckers convoy, puts you as an enemy of the state. And it sounds like Cuba or China. That's kind of what's happening in Canada. I'm sure Americans are waking up to what's going on here, and thanks to Fox, and because it's not covered the same way in Canada, but that's what's happening.
It's pretty crazy to hear. I mean, I know it's Fox News and they're catering more to the right at this point in time, but it is interesting to hear a reporter from Canada just straight up say it's a police state, and it's one of those things that many of us, not just us, Basil, but so many people on the fringes, independent media, all these people saw it coming. It's really quite a shame that it took all this for it to be a discussion in the mainstream. But here we are.
Yeah, well, we're in an interesting time where, first of all, the conspiracy theorists have been right all along, and people are realizing that. But it's all out in the open. I can only speak for the U.S. in my own experience, but we've been a police state for a long time. It's just people have been in the dark about it, and it hasn't been like at the top of mind and things like that. But yeah, you're right. That to have it, so openly discussed on mainstream corporate media, whether it's Fox or whoever, it doesn't matter. It's not like Fox is necessarily some sort of,
bastion of truth.
Yeah, right.
No,
they're a part of the machine as well. Yeah. And so even to have it over there is quite the experience. Again, it's that experience for those of us who have been paying attention for everything we've already known to suddenly be a topic of public discussion. Yeah. And I don't know if you brought this or not, but there was an article that had a quote from Justin Trudeau.
Oh, I have it,
yeah, the one where he's like, "Oh, it's great, we did it, but we're not gonna stop."
We'll play that in a second here, but
great.
Something to mention about this too is I'm starting to think, and this is not like anything new or anything unique to me, but part of the awakening process was because the information has always been public. That's the thing that people need to realize. It hasn't been hidden for a long time. For decades, they've written about here's what we want to do, here's how we want to control everybody, blah, blah, blah. Just people didn't believe it. The masses didn't believe it. But now that the awareness is out there, it's almost like they can actually go out and do it now. They're like, well, they know about it now, and they don't seem to be doing much about it. So let's just keep inching forward and see where they push back.
That's the conundrum, isn't it?
That's
the conundrum. Just because it's out in the open doesn't mean that it's, doesn't mean that it's going to slow down.
Right.
Because, that's part of the power of the mainstream mind control is they can tell you the truth right to your face, but then they can control how you feel about it. And that's kind of the problem. You can know that you live in a police state, but if you're being told that, oh, it's just for your safety or it's for the common good or, the worst part, and we saw this with Obama too, with the NDAA 2011 thing that we mentioned in the past couple episodes, when he was asked about that by a reporter, was like, how can you do this? Seems like a big overstep and a breach of human rights and things like that. And Obama's answer was, oh, we've been doing it forever. We just now put it on paper.
Right.
And that kind of stops the discussion. And also, the implication is like, hey, you've been living like this for a while. Why are you complaining now? Yeah. You must be being manipulated by American, influence.
White nationalists.
Right.
Influencer thinking. Yeah. Whatever it is. Yeah.
And so that is the other side of the coin is they come out and they say, oh, well, yeah, you've always been a police state. And then people are kind of like, oh, well, I guess that's fine then because I've been fine.
Yeah. Here's a little bit more from Joe Warmington.
It's a civil war is what it is. They will finish this job, whatever it takes. I was just talking to a trucker who described an incident, and I haven't seen this on video yet, but he said where guns were drawn. When I hear that, I realize that at any stake, look, the Prime Minister's made it clear, these people don't matter. They're unacceptable. And of course they do matter. They matter to everybody, and they have freedom, and they haven't done anything wrong other than parking their trucks there, honking the horn. So yeah, they will do whatever they have to do. This is it's very, very scary. I'll tell you, Bill, what it reminds of, and I think it warns of, is the kind of scene that you may see one day when somebody in politics or in leadership decides that, people need to get their full vaccines to be fully vaccinated, whether it's no vaccines or 2 or 3. It's really about the vaccine for these people, and this is how far they'll go, to go and enforce it. They do not want to lose this, and it really is frightening. I think the other thing that's important, Bill, is that they suspended the debate in Parliament on the Emergency Act that allows all this to happen. This is not rule of law. This is martial law, in essence. And so we don't have, the media is not supposed to be there. They don't have a debate on it. And they're also arresting at gunpoint and in a very strong way, innocent protesters, if you will. So it's a pretty alarming time. And, I know there's different points of view, but that's how I see it.
Martial law, police state. I thought these were all crazy conspiracy theories, but apparently it just is in Canada now. And yeah, this brings us to Trudeau. Here's a clip. I got this from like a secondhand thing, so the audio isn't great. But here's Trudeau talking about the Emergencies Act.
As I said, the Emergencies Act.
He starts with a really heavy sigh, too, by the way.
Yes,
I feel like he's...
we need to know that he's so tired. He's been working so hard.
As I said, the Emergencies Act is not something to undertake lightly, and it's something that needs to be momentary, temporary, and proportional. That's why every single day I'm receiving briefings, and we are reflecting on how much longer the Emergencies Act needs to be in place. We don't want to keep it in place a single day longer than...
Oops. Sorry, hold on.
But a day longer than necessary. But even though the blockades are lifted across border openings right now, even though things seem to be resolving very well in Ottawa, this state of emergency is not over. There continues to be real concerns about the coming days, but we will continue to evaluate every single day whether or not it is time and we are able to lift this state of emergency.
Screw your freedom.
Yeah. Notice how he doesn't give any actual reason.
Nope.
So he said we don't want to keep it going any longer than it has to.
Which it doesn't have to at this point. The blockades are gone.
Well,
correct?
That's the point. He says the blockades are gone. That's all fixed. We're all good. But we have reasons to keep it going.
Why?
Because reasons.
Why? What reasons, Trudeau?
Reasons, Gons. What do you need? More than reasons?
Because Klaus said so? Like what?
Yeah, because Daddy Klausy is giving him gold stars and cookies on the back end.
Wasn't the whole Emergencies Act triggered because of the blockades? Wasn't that specifically the reason why he triggered that whole thing? So now that those are gone and they're replaced by police barricades, by the way, now. Right. Yeah, you got control, Trudeau. Like, what's the deal?
Exactly. I mean, you're asking the right questions. We understand that. We get that. But that's the funny thing. Just like I said about the mainstream, the politicians can do the same thing, which is tell you the state of the situation and tell you how to feel about it. And what he's saying is, yes, we have completed the prerequisites to end the Emergencies Act, or whatever they call it. But you should still be afraid. And because you're afraid, because we told you to be, we're going to keep the Emergencies Act going for a little while. Why? Well, because, we're just going to see what happens over the next few days. And it's the same thing that happens with in the U.S., this happens every few years for the U.S. This is how our sort of rights have been chipped away over the years. which is you take an emergency, you use the emergency to gain more power, and you just never give it up.
Never give it up. That's been the game plan, or the not the game plan, but the playbook. That's what I'm looking for. The playbook for decades. This is how they've done it.
And he's sort of stretching it to see just how, how long, how everything he can keep that power, especially because, previously the provinces had lifted all mandates and things like that. But this Emergencies Act, it's a total win for the feds, because now the mandates are under control of the feds, where before, without the Emergencies Act, the provinces have to get to decide themselves, which really irked Justin.
Right. You're not listening to me.
Right.
Yeah, that's the whole point of having.
And so he is just delighted that these not the convoy itself necessarily, but the blockades, the border blockades, gave him a reason to do this, gave him a reason to take over power from the provinces. And I really hate to say it, but if this Emergency Act ever ends, I will be very surprised. I think this is something that will stay in force in some form for a long time. He might say we're officially lifting the Emergencies Act right now, but, we have voted through Parliament to retain some targeted and effective powers for the feds so we can keep Canadians safe.
Yeah, a lot of people are comparing this to the Enabling Act by the Reich, the Third Reich of Germany.
Oh, gosh, there we go.
I know.
We're on YouTube right now. We can't talk about that.
You're right.
There is a lot of people are calling this the War Measures Act, and saying
that's
that Justin
what it was called.
Saying that Justin renamed it. He didn't rename it. The Wars Act was from the early 1900s and was revamped and renamed in the 80s. I want to say.
Yeah,
I think it's the 60s or the 80s. I think it was somewhere in the 80s they redid it and renamed it. But it is the War Powers Act. That's what it is.
Well, let's see what CNN says about it.
A shill for sure.
Nothing to do with actual Chris Shilzilla, but hey, maybe he's there. He's
a stand-in.
He's there in the office or at home zooming in or something. I don't know. CNN,
or he wishes he was there.
Yeah. Well, that's what being there in the metaverse is. He's in the CNN metaverse office, but he's actually at home.
You're right. Through the metaverse, Chris Shilzilla will actually be allowed in the office.
Even with COVID, he can be in the office. Fact check debunking more false Fox claims about the Canadian convoy protest by Daniel Dale. Fox News has been repeatedly inaccurate in its coverage of the Canadian Freedom Convoy protests against vaccine mandates, COVID-19 restrictions, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. As the protests in the capital city of Ottawa has been dispersed by the authorities, Ottawa police tweeted Sunday afternoon that 191 people had been arrested and 79 vehicles towed. Fox inaccuracies have continued. Here's a look at 3 false claims by 2 Fox hosts and a Fox contributor since Wednesday. So, number 1, a false claim of a protester being killed. Sarah A. Carter, a Fox contributor with about 1.3 million Twitter followers, tweeted a dramatic allegation on Friday after a chaotic incident involving police officers on horseback riding near a crowd of protesters on an Ottawa street. Photo and videos showed a female protester lying injured on the ground. And there's actual footage. You can see the horse run over her.
Wait, Fox said that she got killed?
Sarah A. Carter, yes. So I actually think this is part of disinfo campaigning here. This is because whoever Sarah A. Carter got this information for, she tweeted it out and a bunch of people picked it up. A bunch of conservatives picked it up. So whatever her source is, I would go back and be like, what was that? Because she says...
Sarah A. Carter is a Fox person.
Yes, she's a Fox contributor. And, Diamond and Silk picked up on it and everything else. And Carter retracted later on. She said, the reports I was given earlier yesterday from sources on the ground that someone may have died at a hospital during the trampling was wrong. She added a claim that someone else at the protest had been taken to the hospital with an issue not caused by trampling. And she concluded, quote, I wanted to clarify this again and apologize for any confusion. And then all the other people, the Ted Cruzes and whatnot, deleted the tweet. So, okay.
So they corrected it.
They corrected it. So
she put out she retracted the statement, corrected it, and so did everybody else.
So nobody needs to debunk it, CNN.
Like a news platform should, which CNN never does.
Or if they do, it's buried on last line of some article somewhere that
right
nobody sees it. The next one, a false claim about the protests.
So funny.
I know.
This fact check is literally like hailing the journalistic integrity of Fox News while trying to debunk them. They say, oh yeah, but they did the right thing and retracted and fixed it and blah 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 blah. Yeah. But there's still misinformation.
Yeah. The other two aren't really that exciting, and they're really, I don't even know if it's worth it. I'll just read I'll read the heading here. A false claim about the protests in Ottawa. It's so vague because literally it's from Geraldo Rivera's making claims. A false claim about where Canada's parliament stands. Janine Pirro, blah blah blah. Yeah, boring. It's real. Yeah. This is literally for the headline. They're like, well, we got to say something to push back against the Fox narrative. Everybody's watching Fox on the reports.
The fun thing is CNN has always been sort of mortal enemies with Fox, and the new owners of CNN also started Fox. Right. So it'll be interesting to see. And this is how it goes just in business. Yeah. You create your own competition so you can control your own competition, and it's a win-win.
This is how the Rothschilds took over England. They funded both sides of the war. That's exactly what's happening here.
It's been really fun for me personally, and I believe many of our listeners, to watch the destruction of CNN over the past few months, year, maybe even. They're now, owned by a different company. People are getting the Reaper's scythe is waving over different people's careers over there. And yet, do not be mistaken. This is the function of the propaganda machine that is the corporate legacy news media. And just because CNN and Fox will be owned by the same people now, well, not owned, they don't still own Fox News, but they were
started by the same
integral
people.
In starting it. This is just an example. This is not necessarily a good thing. This is, both sides of the political, not even political, I don't know, some sort of political temperament in the news are basically controlled by the same people, which we knew. But again, now it is transparent, out in the open, and not some conspiracy theory. It's literally on paper and being reported about on their own news. So there you go. That's fun. The beast grows even larger.
Yep. Just another deconstruction on a Monday.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
Monday.
Well, you know what that means, Gons? It's time for a little skate update.
Howdy, partner.
Do you even skate?
Do you even skate? Well, I did yesterday again. 6 weekends in a row, baby. That's right. I'm a certified skater boy, and I'm here to just give everybody an update on this this new phenomenon. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. It's called skating. So I'm back at the skate rink. I got there late last night, so I actually didn't get to go for a while. Here's a fun little tip for anybody who's interested. 1 hour of moderate skating in a skate rink burns like 750 calories. So there you go. If you're looking for a new activity, if you're maybe on a cut like me, just go into the skate rink for 1 hour and, just trying to skate. You'll burn like 700 calories. That's crazy. Yeah. So there's a little tip. Today, Oh, it is crazy, Gons. I thought when I first started going 6 weeks ago, I thought that it was more crowded than I could ever imagine a skate rink in 2022 being.
Mm-hmm.
Very crowded. You know, I don't know how many people were there, maybe 100. Okay. Ever since that first weekend, it has continued to grow. The crowd is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And at this point, if you get there late like I did last night, you are parking literally down the street, like a block or two away. Parking lot fully packed, parked up and down, people double parked, people parking in the dirt lot, super packed. I get there late. I have never seen this many human beings in one skate rink at a time. Now, here's the thing. Don't worry, I'm connecting it. For those who've been following my journey into the world of roller skating, last Monday I announced that I am becoming the monster that I never thought I would. I'm being accepted into the alpha skate boy sort of culture. I've got the speed. I've got the control now to weave in and out and not run into people. And okay, that's enough. When there's like 300 people out on the skate rink at a time, it is a safety issue to be able to do this.
Don't they have limits on how many people can be out on the ice at once?
Apparently not,
Okay.
Gons. Apparently it is an unregulated situation, or nobody's calling the fire marshal or something. But here's why I bring it up. In the past, people take falls. You see it all the time. People take even big falls.
I know where this is going.
I don't know if you do.
I do.
I didn't fall. Don't worry.
Okay.
I was safe. But people take big falls. You know, in the past 5 weeks before last night, maybe once, maybe twice, but I think just once in 5 weeks has somebody taken a big enough fall that an ambulance had to come.
Oh, wow.
Last night, in the 1 hour when I was at the skate rink, there was 2 different ambulance crashes or people crashing to the degree that an ambulance was called. It was like a bloodbath in there. And unfortunately, they were both skate daddies. I don't know what happened.
Aww.
Yes, the skate daddies took a couple of big falls. Blood on the rink, baby. Don't think that skate time is just for dressing up in neon clothes and goofing around. It is very serious. So two skate daddies were taken away in ambulances, and there was one other one that was a big crash, but he did not get taken away. Maybe he should have, but I don't know. Maybe they had reached their quota for the day. They're like,
no more ambulances.
Just load them in the back of the pickup, man. We can't call another ambulance tonight. But I survived. I was safe. Thank you for your prayers, everybody. And that's your update on the Church of Skating.
Hospitalizations being overwhelmed by skaters replacing all the COVID victims.
Yeah. You're gonna wear a mask and get vaxxed, or else you'll crash while you're skating.
I thought you were going to say there was like a domino effect because there's so many people.
No, surprisingly not. Although I don't know. You know, it's interesting. Just back to the sociological part of it for you, Gons. When these big crashes happen, the regulars, the sort of veterans, even the young ones, you know, the core group, the core social group at the skate rink, they all stop and like take off their skates and like direct traffic and protect the fallen soldier. And
that's good.
It's just sort of like an organic thing.
Yeah,
you know?
well,
there's a camaraderie,
some unwritten
there.
rules and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
so
good.
It's kind of nice.
Good. Okay, well, my weekend not very eventful, but I do have something to do here, which is to call upon the producers. Which my button's not working for some reason. Come on, producer button. There we go.
Producers, assemble!
And I got a message from one of our producers, Warrior Chick Jan, and she wanted to ask the prayer warriors to step in. Her mother is 83-year-old Diane, has been just fell. What happened here? Okay, so she passed out in the car while driving with Warrior Chick Jan's dad. Woke up, actually had a defibrillator go off again this morning. They don't think she had a heart attack or stroke, but they're keeping her overnight with observations in the hospital today. So just prayers out to Diane for her health.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there you go. Producers all around the world. If you're wondering who the producers are, well, it could be you. All it takes is answering the call when the producer calls goes out. So, yes, we'll certainly activate everybody out there. Put it in your prayer journal, put it on the list, or just say a little prayer right now for, what was the name, Diane?
Diane, yeah.
Diane. Okay, we're praying for you, Diane.
All right.
All right, and last but not least, Gons. Oh, did you have anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Last but not least, we are on the value for value model, folks, which means we are entirely funded and produced by our producers. And those producers are listeners just like you who receive value from the show, recognize that they don't want advertising corporations deciding the value of their independent media. And so they put some value back in, which makes them producers. And today we have an executive producer for today's show, Gons. And that executive producer's name is Oogly Boogly.
Oogly Boogly.
Yeah, Oogly Boogly was the name that came in.
Boogly, okay.
So thank you very much, executive producer Oogly Boogly.
Where'd you find this?
That's right, and we got a note and some more info from Oogly Boogly, but there you go. We like to give our shout outs to our executive and associate executive producers at the top of the show. So everybody, you can thank Oogly Boogly in the chat for making the show possible.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it? We finished the segment?
Yeah. You know who else we couldn't do this show without?
Oh, I'm guessing
Flippy!
it's a robot.
It's a robot.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right. It's time for the Flippy update. If you're new to the show, Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses, and maybe someday becoming our best friends. We talk about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world, just how there's nothing we can do about it. Today, we've got a story coming from Business Insider being mirrored by Yahoo.com. And the headline is robot dogs that could patrol the U.S.-Mexico border would not, quote, take over due to their 4-hour operating capacity. CEO says.
What do you mean they won't take over? What?
They won't take over. I know, it's so funny because we'll get into it.
Yeah.
But it's, that old thing when it's like, if you're in a position where you have to say that you're not a racist, it's already too late.
Right.
I love it's like with these CEOs of these robotics companies. Like if you have to make an official statement that your robot is not going to take over, it's too late.
It's too late. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to skip the bullet points and go straight into the article, I think.
Yep.
Here we go. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS. I love how it's DHS too, because it's like they just put out the threat bulletin for people
terrorist
who have
threat.
Yes, disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation is terrorism.
Right.
So you can just black bag people. Well, those guys have released images of robot dogs, which they are testing with the possible aim of having them patrol the U.S.-Mexico border. Wow.
I wonder if Trump loves this.
In this context, it's kind of spooky because, there's that joke about Trump's wall.
Yeah. Biden's got dogs, robot dogs.
Yeah, that's another funny part. Well, which we'll get into in a second.
Yeah.
But the joke, the sort of liberal joke was like, Trump doesn't want to build a wall to keep other people out. It's because he wants us to stay in. He wants to keep us in prison, man. We're in the prison planet. Which is, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
But also, now we have killbots patrolling the border to keep us from going for, asylum in Mexico or something. Officials have not said when the robot dogs, known as automated ground surveillance vehicles, might be deployed.
That means they're deployed already.
Deployed already, yeah. CNN reported the news on Saturday. The CNN report followed an article published earlier this month on the DHS Science and Technology Directorate's website. The article said the machines could, quote, potentially be a new best friend for CBP personnel in the field. What is CBP? Is that Border Patrol?
Yeah.
Must be.
California Border Patrol.
Brenda Long, S&T Directorate Program Manager, said in the article, quote, the southern border can be an inhospitable place for man and beast. And that is exactly why a machine may excel there. What are you, a wizard? What are you talking about? For man and beast.
We are living in the days of Noah.
Send the homunculi. Our golems, our techno golems shall protect our borders. The CEO of Ghost Robotics, which developed the machines, told CNN that while the company is focusing on, quote, doing the right thing for national security, there's nothing to be afraid of. Listen to that sentence again. While this guy told CNN that while the company is focusing on doing the right thing for national security, there's nothing to be afraid of. The implication there is whatever doing the right thing means is scary.
Yeah. Well, and plus, what else are they doing that has them focusing on doing the right thing? It means they're doing the wrong thing for national security, even in that context. But they're having to sort of move in a direction where, we're going to move into more right thing to do direction, which is like, okay, that's a weird thing to say. It presupposes doing the wrong thing.
It's a great piece of sort of rhetorical propaganda, too, because doing the right thing. What does that harken to? It harkens to sort of equity and social justice. And, the Democrats have tried to kind of make that their brand, even though even Democrats at this point don't believe it.
Yeah.
So, they're trying to come at it with this like, yes, we've created killbots to protect our borders from whatever, but we're doing it in like a woke way. We're doing the right thing, so don't be afraid. Jairin Parikh added that, quote, there's no way they're going to be taking over anything because they will only have 4-hour operating capacity. They also need to be remotely controlled by a human. What in the world are you referring to?
Hey,
I want to know what the question was asked.
Yeah, well, yeah. That is interesting. No question posed here. But also, anybody who knows what our military are capable of with drone technology just makes this sort of excuse very obsolete.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because the sort of, again, the implicit question is like, are these robots going to take over the world? And then Jaren comes in and is like, there's no way they're going to be taking over anything. Like, okay, what?
Why the extremes in... Anyway, all right, keep going. There's a couple more things here.
Yeah, and they make a point about it being controlled by a human, which we've seen over and over and over again. We've been doing these Flippy updates for years. And it always starts with they're controlled by a human. But, these robots are equipped with autonomous features. And, for the PR, you tell them, we'll have an operator, but, we're not going to let them autonomously prowl the desert looking for people trying to enter the, a family with milk jugs filled with water and then, have the robot solve the problem, if you will.
Sure.
But then it also has that thing of like, a human will be making the decisions.
Right.
Which honestly is not that much better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why, like with the drones, it's the same kind of deal.
Right.
It's like
all these drone strikes killing Afghani families. Those are humans too.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, read on here. There's a couple different.
I'm on
things.
it. CNN reported that the new technology hasn't been welcomed by an umbrella group called the Southern Border Communities Coalition. Vicky Gaubeka, the director of the group, told CNN, quote, "This really felt like a slap in the face. There are other technologies that they're already using that we feel like they could cut back on, and yet they're adding on another type of surveillance technology. That's frightening, to be honest." Ghost Robotics did not immediately respond to Insider's request for comment made outside of normal working hours. What? What is there any softer way to say that? Because usually when you say, "Oh, they didn't immediately respond to our questions," the implication is like, "Oh, they're avoiding us. They're avoiding us." But to say, "Oh yeah, they didn't answer our questions, but we sent it after 5, and they have families, so we understand." It's like a very special sort of I don't know.
It's an excuse.
Yeah, what is the word?
Misdirection. Yeah, go on.
Parikh told CNN that robot dogs on the U.S. border aren't part of a military effort.
Oh, what is it?
Quote, "It's just another sensor carrier. It's really for sensing around the environment. It's not really interacting with people," he said.
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
It's just surveilling you. Don't worry. It's not a military effort. Like what?
Again, that's how it starts, man. That's just how it starts. Well, remember the drones that they are deploying?
Yeah.
I think this is in Texas. They have these little autonomous drone stations.
Right.
That there's a little tower, and that little tower, if it detects movement, it launches a drone to go, look at what is moving. And then they uncovered the sales video for this drone that was used to sell it to the government. And in the sales video, it shows this drone, this surveillance drone, like shooting tasers and like killing people in the desert as like a sales pitch. So
I want to see that. That sounds entertaining.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't seen it? I thought we played it on the show.
Oh, maybe. I mean,
it was a while ago. You might not just remember.
Yeah.
Robot dogs have faced backlash previously. Another technology company, Boston Dynamics, had its $94,000 contract with NYPD canceled over concerns about its robot dogs' role in policing. In that case, some observers linked their use to police funding cuts and the increased militarization of police in general. Yeah, well, you're not wrong. And it doesn't help that there's countless videos online of, some of these robot dogs that have been equipped with machine guns and rifles and things like that. And they, when they talk about surveillance technology, did they use the actual word? Let me see if they used the word.
They didn't, but the border people did.
Platform. So platform is so they called it sensor carrier.
Right.
So instead of the usual term platform, they use carrier. And that's the thing with these dogs is they are just platforms. They're a carrier. They're just an object that can be equipped with things. And so this statement that it's just another sensor carrier is maybe true for now, but it does not change the fact that tomorrow they could be equipped with something else, armed killbots on the U.S. border. And we think we're better than China sometimes. We literally just reported that China has killbots on the border of Tibet. So there you go. It's not just for the Chinese. We're catching up, folks. Woo!
USA.
We're a number 2 in this case.
Well, it doesn't matter. We'll still be partying. CanaryCry.party is where you can go for that.
Party time.
Find the live stream, email list, street team posters, other Canarians, and all the ways to produce the show and join the Canary Cry family.
Welcome to Canary Cry Party. It's the place you wanna be. So say, welcome to Canary Cry. Gameplay, Canary Cry Party.
That's right. CanaryCry.party. Especially you YouTubers over there, you're going to want to head over to CanaryCry.party to find another platform to catch the second half of the show, because that will not be airing on YouTube. And just quick plug, go check out my other podcast called Ravel, where we explore scripture and society and scandal. We just had an episode drop yesterday where we are talking about art, artists, and things like that. We spend a lot of time talking to like scholars and academics and theologians and lawyers and all those types. But we're going to be doing a mini series talking to artists, not just about art, but everything. So going to be really cool. Also, thanks for those who tuned in to listen to the Jay Baker episode. A lot of mixed reviews. Some people don't like the tension of people arguing about theology. But if you like that, we have a podcast episode with Jay Baker, the son of Jim and Tammy Faye Baker. Interesting fella, cool guy, heretic. Good times. Good times. All right. Let's keep going. Okay, time to check in on
Russia.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Russia. Russia, 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 Russia.
Where in the world is
Kamala?
Where is she, Gons? Where is she?
Kamala. Business Insider mirrored on MSN.com. Headline: Vice President Kamala Harris acknowledged the real possibility of war in Europe. They're really molding her, you know. It's a part of
read that again. What does it say?
Vice President.
She just this is an article called "Vice President Kamala Harris acknowledged the real possibility of war."
Yeah, she gets to peddle
Kamala.
war.
She didn't do anything.
No, she gets to peddle war.
Yeah.
It says here, Vice President Kamala Harris on Sunday acknowledged that the world was facing, quote, the real possibility of war in Europe, while stating the United States could, quote, incur some cost if Russia decides to invade Ukraine. At the annual Munich Security Conference in Germany, Harris sought to convey to U.S. allies that the deteriorating situation at the Ukraine-Russia border signaled that European security is being threatened, while adding that sanctions should be imposed for the Kremlin if it overruns its neighbor. Quote, we're talking about the potential for war in Europe. I mean, let's really take a moment to understand the significance of what we're talking about, she told reporters in Munich.
Okay.
She continued, quote, It's been over 70 years, and through those 70 years, ... there has been peace and security. We are talking about the real possibility of war in Europe. President Joe Biden on Sunday planned to huddle with his national security team to review the situation, while with Harris set to join the group upon her return from Germany. Before leaving the conference, the vice president spoke with Biden's team about her meeting and conversations while at the event, according to the Associated Press. So there you go. There's a little bit more in terms of Russia. There's stuff breaking right before we went live today with Biden. There was a headline that said Biden and Putin, there's some understanding or something like that. But in the other angle, just because we're on Kamala here, and no agenda covered it, but there's the theory out there that they're going to blame a lot of the inflation stuff happening right now to the Ukraine crisis, and then once they're able to bring things under control a little bit, they will sort of crown Kamala as being the champion for restoring or helping fix the economy and the post-COVID issues and whatnot.
To be clear, there's quite a few good analyses on this.
Sure.
There was, one
the New York Post did one. I think.
Right. One straightforward plan that's sort of being talked about is, keep Kamala behind the scenes for as long as possible because she messes up literally everything she does. Then, exacerbate the Ukraine crisis, which Biden has been doing, bring it to some sort of fevered pitch, and then send Kamala to Munich, which is where they are holding some, United Nations talks or whatever, NATO get-togethers where they're going to, have some cheese and crackers and discuss the situation. Send Kamala in there to defuse the bomb, and then boom. Now she has something on her resume where she could, they could justify her running again in 2024 as vice president, or, give her something to brag about if she does become the presidential nominee in 24. because, she didn't do great in her first year, but nobody will remember that. They'll just remember how she solved the World War III crisis of 2022 and single-handedly talked Putin away from the trigger. And because of that, the economy rebounded and everything's great and gas is $2 a gallon. Woo! Thanks, Kamala. Which is not the worst plan, but execution is a big factor in this.
Well, especially, just straight up in the geopolitical sense, but, you need, in the context of geopolitics, you would need the cooperation of Putin to sign off on something like that, which there's no reason for him to do any of that anyway. I mean, a lot of the accusations...
It would take some backroom. It would take some backroom deals.
Yeah.
Like if she does do this, you have to guarantee that we've made some backroom deal that's good for Russia.
Yeah. Anyway, you have an Atlantic article here. You love the Atlantic, so
I love checking in with the Atlantic for sure. For those who don't know, well, the Atlantic is barely a news organization, but owned by Steve Jobs, Lauren Powell Jobs. Steve Jobs' widow. So it's always interesting to check in. Nothing from Bessie recently. Bess Levin. This is from Tom McTague. Something? Yeah, McTague. Anyways, it's titled, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's humongous, but I'll get a little bit into it and just, I think it's a good temperature reading for where liberal politics is at right now. The headline is Putin has made America great again. Yay.
Thanks, Putin.
Putin has made America great again. Just a brilliant headline because you get to take a stab at Trump and also talk about current events, but also, what does this have to do with Biden? It's a whole thing. Donald Trump. I love it. The Atlantic, more than anybody, is just obsessed with tying everything to Donald Trump, and they just can't help it. Donald Trump is literally the first two words of the article, and they do their
giant D.
Yeah, they do their typeface where it's like the gigantic first letter of a paragraph, and it's just a
classic
giant
news.
D. Donald Trump,
all caps,
was supposed to have changed the world, robbing America not just of its luster, but of its allies' trust. Okay, a weird sentence, by the way. Donald Trump was supposed to have changed the world, robbing America not just of its luster, but of its allies' trust. Here was a president of such gauche ignorance and hostility, it seemed impossible that American power would ever be seen in the same light again. For Europe in particular, Trump's jingoistic belligerence was poised to be an adrenaline shot to the heart, Pulp Fiction style, jolting the continent out of its American dependency.
This looks like someone just watched too much Pulp Fiction.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty cool article. Continues here. And yet, here we are, facing the first serious threat of invasion in Europe since the Balkan Wars of the 1990s. And it's as if nothing has changed. The story of the Ukraine crisis so far has been about many things. Blackmail, realpolitik, appeasement, even, apparently, Western provocation, regardless of the facts.
Huh?
Interesting, huh? They're sort of acknowledging the sort of Biden's belligerence in the situation. But here in Europe, the one thing it very much has not been about is American decline. In fact, from here, the story of this latest crisis is of the reestablishment of America the good, America the bold, America the supreme, and by extension, Europe as the weak. In my recent conversations with diplomats, government officials, politicians, and analysts, both in Europe and in the U.S., most of whom spoke on the condition of anonymity in order to discuss the situation candidly. And also, I didn't really do it, and I don't want to have to have any journalistic integrity. I
just made it up.
And just making this all up.
My ayahuasca trip, I got some sources.
Yeah. I was struck by this counterintuitive conclusion.
Oh.
While America itself continues to struggle with its own sense of decline, its dominions in Europe are choosing to suspend their disbelief in the Imperium all over again. And this is a fun theme throughout the whole article, referring to America as an empire, as an imperium, and European nations as like protectorates of America, like feudal states ruled by the Empire of America. After years of
weird.
It is really strange. We don't have time to do the whole thing, but I highly recommend everybody read it. It's a very interesting article. After years of grumbling about American power, it took only the whiff of a threat from Moscow for Europe to recommit to the old order, thrusting the battered old fasces of imperial authority back into the hands of the emperor in Washington.
Wow, this is like truly
crazy, right? Really interesting way to put it.
Yeah.
I mean, especially after all of the guff that Trump got. They called him King Trump because
right.
He's a fascist and he just acts like a king. He's not a president.
It's like they set the royal stage, and now they're like, well, I guess we are ruled by this king, this throne anyway, regardless of who's on it.
According to The Atlantic, it's Emperor Biden.
Yeah.
This wasn't the story I thought I would be telling about this crisis when I began making calls. I thought the narrative would be the declinist one. In 1960s, the United States made up about 40% of the global GDP. President Joe Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, boasts that America and its allies combined account for a little more than that portion of global output. Such a change must have geopolitical consequences. This was merely masked for a while by the end of the Cold War. Let me just check something really quick, see what we have. Okay, yeah, I'm going to keep this short. Of course, it's possible to fit the crisis over Ukraine into this much wider narrative of American decline. The pressure being exerted by Vladimir Putin, after all, is part of a longer story in which the U.S. is forced to spend more of its resources dealing with the rising power of China and therefore cannot afford to permanently defend Europe as well. This is a shakedown that cannot be avoided. Also reasonable is the claim that Putin might not have felt so emboldened to attempt this type of military blackmail before. Don't know what they're referring to there. Armed with his alliance with China, he can afford to test the strength of the West, not just now, but for years to come, hoping to create cracks that he can then exploit. Yet, what is most striking about Putin's crisis is not how it has revealed America's withdrawal from Europe, but just how American Europe remains. And it continues for a long, long time to talk about how, you might think that America's in decline. Oh, but this Ukraine crisis is letting us show our strength, and Europe wants to, Europe loves us and wants us to be there and wants to bend the knee to America. We're still a superpower and we rule. And it's this weird 180 turn where before recently, I would say literally right before this Ukraine crisis, the liberal ideal, was stop being world police. It's not America's job to, establish order in the world. Why are we getting involved in other countries? Blah, blah, blah. This has been going on for years as sort of the liberal idea. Now, of course, the funny part about that is on the other side, on the right side of the political spectrum, the liberals will criticize the right for being nationalistic or for being isolationist, saying that that's like some weird white supremacist ideology that America should keep to itself. And yet, it's a very sort of liberal idea that we shouldn't be the world police. So another one of these ways that separation is more of like a rhetorical control mechanism rather than an actual clash of ideology. But this was it was very telling in the way that this extremely liberal news outlet, quote unquote, with an extremely liberal cast of reporters and journalists, are now cheerleading the idea that we're number one, USA is the best, we're so good at killing people and or threatening to kill people, that Europe loves us and trusts us, and we're the empire and they're our vassal states, and et cetera, et cetera, which is just a really enlightening moment to see how deeply the neoliberal ideology has taken root in places like the Atlantic.
Well, I see this as very much a team picking moment, a taking sides moment for the staging of a massive, and we've talked about this for years, a West versus East type of showdown, and with Europe being there, this makes sense, geopolitically, geographically. I've seen a lot of kind of not just memes, but people referring to this idea of, America, the big brother. Wasn't that one of the headlines here? Coming to help Europe, the little brother. He's running into some trouble, and we're here to save them, and that kind of thing. And it's almost like, it's interesting. The America has been doing New World Order stuff for a long time. And then when Trump took over, it was, America is bad, blah, blah, blah. And now that it's, the political balances in the United States has swung back around, it's almost like whoever has the helm is just like, it gets to be the driver, So boom, we're world power now. We're going to help the UK, or not the UK, but Europe. And, it's a subheading. Ukraine crisis has revealed that the U.S. can't shed its big brother image on the world stage.
Yeah.
So, I was just going to say that it's setting up for that massive West-East thing, and Europe is, unfortunately for the U.S., or for Europe, for people in Europe, at the benefit of the people in the U.S. in terms of geography, Europe will be the first people to really get a huge, a clash, I guess, physical clash because of any kind of expansion that a Putin China-Russia partnership may try to do.
If indeed geographical expansion is even the goal, which you could say definitely takes a second. It takes second fiddle.
Yeah, well, yes. Information and pipelines and all the infrastructure is probably way more above where people are looking at with this geopolitical tension. This is obviously for other reasons, because I don't think anything's really going to happen with this border crisis here. It's been ongoing for 8 years, something like that. So
you're talking about Ukraine?
Ukraine, yeah.
Yeah. It's been on and off.
It's on and off. Years. It's always, but notice how all the fear has moved away from COVID. Now it's the crisis here, but it's really this crazy New World Order moment where the United States and Europe are kind of uniting against communists, Russia, China. Man, it's like there's tension. Nothing new under the sun, man. It's just like, but the divide and conquer is just the chunks are getting bigger, and you can see how for the New World Order, world domination to take place, they need maybe two distinct parties going at it on a New World Order global political infrastructure type of thing. And so this is all,
So when it comes to the actual reality of the situation, there's a lot going in there. With this article, though, I find it more impactful to consider the ideology being expressed. And this ideology is, okay, liberals, we get it. We were against war. We were against meddling in the affairs of other people. We were, keeping to ourselves. America being a military superpower was not necessarily something for us to take pride in. A president who, is trying to be the empire of the world is a bad thing. But now it's our guy, it's Biden. And, we kind of just said all those things just to get the bleeding hearts to vote for us. But in the end, we're just, the establishment, just like anybody else in power.
Yeah.
So now we need to tell you that it's okay if we police the world, and that America is the best, and that we should be the empire, the ruling empire, and that we should do those. And then in the conclusion of this article, let me just read this, and then we can move on. In his inaugural address, Biden's message to the world was that America had been tested, but had come back stronger as a result. The country would, he said, quote, lead not merely by the example of our power, but by the power of our example.
Oh my gosh.
America, he was saying, was ready to resume its role as the leader of the free world, a, quote, trusted partner for peace, progress, and security. Rereading these lines today in light of the Ukraine crisis, you can conclude that he has partly made good on his promise, despite the debacle. So again, look, this is an image situation for Biden, who has not done a great job and has continuing to precipitate in his approval ratings, especially when you consider the fact he literally has not kept one campaign promise. Rereading these lines today in light of the Ukraine crisis, you can conclude that he has partly made good on his promise, despite the debacle in Afghanistan.
Let's forget about that.
Mm-hmm. He has shepherded the West into a unified position on Ukraine through careful and conciliatory diplomacy. Does that sound like what we've actually seen? Careful and conciliatory diplomacy? It sounds like almost literally the opposite of what we've seen him do.
What would be the opposite of a neocon in the Democrat sense? Is there a word for that?
Yeah, neoliberal.
Oh, okay. That doesn't sound as accusatory. Yeah. That's kind of what this is, right? I mean, it's pro-war, Democrat, liberal.
Yeah, I mean, more or less. Let me finish this out real quick, because there will be more to comment on. He has shepherded the West into a unified position on Ukraine through careful and conciliatory diplomacy. And part of this article is talking about how he's done a great job of getting all of Europe on his side, and everybody loves it when he's there and doing his thing and sending troops. When it's literally week after week, we have Ukraine saying, please don't help us. We don't need your help. You're making things worse. And the rest of Europe is like, whoa, America, you are really kind of setting things on fire over here. Please just slow down. And Biden's just like, send more drones.
Do you want to
get more boots on the ground?
There's stuff breaking on this right now. So I'm
all right, let me finish his last two sentences.
Finish your thought.
Yet Russia's challenge to the West today, as it amasses troops on Ukraine's border, is predicated on its belief that American power is retreating, and with it, the power of its example. Europe's response, however, has been to reveal how powerful America remains. So Europe is revealing how powerful we remain. The truth is that it's possible for both sentiments to be true at the same time. So you got to end it with a little bit of postmodernism there.
Right.
But yeah, very interesting sort of shift in the talking points for the liberal ideal as Emperor Biden continues to spread the American empire.
So breaking this morning, Ukraine, Putin recognizes independence of pro-Russian terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm sorry, I read that totally wrong. Putin recognizes independence of pro-Russian territories. Big difference there. Must be clear. Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a decree on Monday recognizing the independence of a separatist Donetsk People's Republic and Luhansk People's Republic in eastern Ukraine's Donbas region. I don't know if I'm saying that right. The New York Times reports. During a speech, Putin also demanded the end of Ukraine's military operation in the separatist area, per AFP. The announcement came on Monday after Putin held a meeting of Russian national security officials. Ursula von der Leyen, president of the European Commission, tweeted that the move is a blatant violation of international law. So, the UN, where is this?
I almost brought this story to the show.
Okay.
Yeah, it is something. And I'm interested to see how the response from Biden goes. But so, these separatist groups, they're maintains territories in Ukraine that are sort of pro-Russian separatist territories. They want to either be their own country where they can regulate their own relationship with Russia, or, maybe sort of join with Russia. It's been a big part of Russians' involvement in Ukraine, is sort of supporting these little groups. And in fact, it was one of these groups in one of these territories that had the school shelled.
Right.
And that was the big sort of mix-up when it came to, calling that a Russian false flag, was because it was in a pro-Russian territory. And, they were claiming that Ukrainian forces had, been pulling some stunts in the pro-Russian territory. So it made no sense to call it a Russian. I don't know. It was a whole thing. But yes, that was one of those territories.
Right.
And then, this morning he's like, yeah, these territories are cool, man. They're their own thing and they're not Ukraine. So take that, Ukraine.
And obviously this is fluttering everybody else here. The High Representative of the EU for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy and Vice President of EU Commission, Joseph Borrell Fontelles, said the decree by President Putin ordering a so-called peacekeeping mission into the so-called Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republic is another outright aggression against Ukraine, a violation of its territorial integrity and sovereignty. The UN Security Council should convene ASAP.
Oh, so he did authorize peacekeeping in those areas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there you go. That's kind of a de facto invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep.
Fun. Things are about to get even more exciting.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
But, again, it's back to the legal definitions of it.
I know. That's
because, of course, you've got Russian propaganda saying, hey, these are independent regions being oppressed by Ukraine. We're here just keeping the peace, letting these independent regions live their lives, when in fact, of course, he just wants them to be separate so he can gobble them up into Russian territory. But then, put that beside the other side of that, which is, Russia's long-term it's like a long-term invasion. Like he's been invading for like 20 years, and now it's the time when he gets sort of invited to put boots on the ground.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye on everything going on there and report on things as they break. But also, I don't know. It's just kind of it's a slow rollout as usual with this kind of stuff.
We'll keep an eye on it. This is how it happens.
Keeps inching forward.
There's
slowly.
Other stuff that is not so slow moving.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Well, let's see.
This is kind of just a quick little update here.
Yeah. Hold on. I lost track of. I have other tabs open here. I don't know why. Okay, so this is The Guardian. And the headline, Jean-Luc Brunel, held on suspicion of supplying girls to Epstein, found hanged.
Oh.
Totally sounds legit. I don't know. The former boss of a French model agency accused of rape and under investigation on suspicion of supplying underage girls to the late American financier Jeffrey Epstein has been found dead in prison. The body of Jean-Luc Brunel, 75, was reportedly found hanging in his cell in the early hours of Saturday, the French prosecutor's office confirmed the report and said an inquiry had been opened into the exact cause of death, but early indications pointed to suicide. That's about it. I mean, there's really nothing else to say.
Well, there's
about
a couple other details. Apparently, there was, not an investigation, like a death, not quite an autopsy, but a what is it called? Where just the guy comes and takes a look and kind of says what he thought. The
not the coroner, but it would be a coroner, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't quite an autopsy, but it was some lesser version of that. Okay. Anyways, preliminary, sort of independent investigations have said that the broken bones and the wounds on the neck and stuff like that are more consistent with strangulation than hanging. So, I mean, it's literally... Now, this was a bad dude. I mean, this guy was an integral part of the Epstein network. He, some people are calling him or like referring to him as like Epstein's pimp. Like, he was in the fashion industry, ran a modeling agency, so had access to a lot of girls and money, and was one of sort of the main sources for Epstein and his network.
Right.
And he's been in jail for a little while now in France. And no videotape, no nothing. Just hung himself allegedly, just like Epstein did.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, he's 75, so they either took him out, or because he's useless at this point, or.
Well, if there was anybody else that could bring down the client list or cause problems for the Epstein's, little black book or whatever, this would be the next guy besides Ghislaine.
Yeah. I don't know, man. A lot of suspicion surrounding all this kind of stuff, but
yeah, not too much else to say about it. Everybody's been playing it pretty close to the chest. Again, a lot of it is I don't think that we could say anything that anybody else is not already thinking. So there you go. There's the update. Let's check in with the metaverse.
Welcome to the metaverse.
This is a very interesting article by livemint.com.
Yeah, livemint.com. Do you have highlights on this?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. The headline here is Metaverse, technology that merges virtual physical worlds soon to become a reality, Meta says. It's like they've been watching or listening to Canary Cry News Talk. And
we just talked about this with McDonald's.
Yeah. And
with the food deliveries
just
in
in general, a theme that I touched on the Face Like the Sun channel for years was, hey, the virtual and physical world are going to merge. It's merging more and more. Mm-hmm. And so now it's just headline on Livemint. Technology that merges the virtual and physical worlds could start to become a reality for consumers in a few years. Facebook owner Meta Platforms Inc. has told advertising agencies.
Mm-hmm. This whole article is about advertising agencies. So as Gons goes through it, keep in mind the idea that we have been shouting about for years now, but that really you need to take seriously. Some people, they hear us rant about advertisers and they're like, oh, okay, you just say what you need to say so you can, get producers or whatever. I mean, I'm very serious when I say the advertising industry plays maybe the most integral role in creating our reality and deciding what reality actually is. And we'll learn more about that here.
It says here, MR, mixed reality technology, could allow a person wearing an MR headset to use a real-world object to trigger a virtual world reaction, like hitting a video game character with a real-world baseball bat, for instance. Okay. It is one of 3 types of extended reality technologies, and we know about all that. We know about augmented technology. The comments from Meta came, there's a Meta comment. Let's see. Some mixed reality headsets are available, but are not yet geared toward general consumers. So we have the Microsoft HoloLens 2, which was introduced in 2019, retails for $3,500 and is geared for workplace use. At its annual Connect conference in October, Meta announced Project Cambria. I hadn't heard of this before. Project Cambria, a headset that will feature mixed reality capabilities and include face and eye tracking. Yay! Mm-hmm. The headset
which is what we read the patent on a Flippy update for their electronic eyeball,
right?
Which was exactly for this purpose.
Yep. The headset is expected to be released this year. In the meantime, Meta continued to advise advertisers to experiment with augmented reality ads, such as photo and video filters that overlay digital images onto the real world, the ad agency executive said. The comments reiterated Meta's pitch to ad industry conferences. Meta said brands could partner with content creators on AR ads or use the technology for virtual clothing try-ons. The roundtable. That's what I was thinking about too. The Beast Fashion thing is it's the metaverse is going to be the place for Beast Fashion. We have wasn't Gucci or something getting into the metaverse?
Yeah, Gucci has a metaverse store now.
So yeah, it's a big deal. The roundtable with agencies lacked detail on what ad formats could be built for the metaverse, but what specific controls would be in place to prevent brands from appearing next to unsuitable content or actions restrictions, the agency executive said.
Yes, they don't want any advertising going on the Canary Cry
exactly.
live metaverse podcast recording.
Yeah, that's their way of saying people like us, unsuitable content.
Right.
Advertisers are also looking for detail on how the effectiveness of ads in the metaverse will be measured, and will be asking, quote, "What did I get for my money?" the executive said. A Meta spokesperson declined to comment. So I like how Meta is like, it's advertisers, you better get ready. Why don't you start dabbling with the metaverse? And, you know, the advertisers are like, okay, what do you mean? What do we do? And Meta's like, we don't know. Go ahead. Just start working with influencers. Do that. Go do that. Build it for us. We don't know what to do. We just have the name.
Yeah, and this is particularly salient because ever since Facebook became Meta and rolled out their Meta stuff, they've had some massive stock crashes. Because they haven't figured out the funding structure of the metaverse yet. Well, I guess they've figured it out, but nobody's got any faith in it. So,
plus it's not really up and running as much as they claim, right?
So this event is for, you know, it's a fundraising event more or less. But yeah, you know, this is the thing when it comes to reality, when it comes to in different forms. You know, we talk about rhetoric, we talk about desire, we talk about all sorts of these things. These are the strongest force on sort of a scale, you know, a population scale. The one of the most significant forces for defining reality are ad agencies, and that's why it's so sinister. You know, that they are the ones with the money who decides who gets to live and who gets to die as far as media creation goes, which is why we're on the value for value model. But when it comes to the metaverse and this mixed reality thing, which is funny that they're leaning more on the mixed reality, because the metaverse is more like you're in your pod, you have your helmet on, you're flying around the cyberverse. Mixed reality is, you know, you got your pair of glasses that overlay a virtual realm over the world as you're walking through. So it's kind of an intermediate step for advertisers.
Sounds like what it literally sounds like what people who have experimented with DMT describe. Like you can kind of see a layer of a realm that's layering over the physical realm.
Yeah, well, DMT, you're totally in a different universe, but certainly psychedelics in general, that's been a highly reported aspect of it, that you're attuned with a realm that is overlapping our own.
Right.
And that's this mixed reality. In another sense, it's kind of like, my favorite comparison is They Live. With the glasses, you know, I mean, in one sense, that's exactly what we're going to be looking at, which is you wear your glasses, you go out into the world, and you get your pretty digital advertiser-funded, upgraded reality experience where, the ads are popping up on trees, and you can get whatever data you want just by looking at something or whatever. But then you take the glasses off and you see, in this case,
lizard people
reality. Exactly. That's when the lizard people don't have to wear their skin suits as long as you're wearing your
as long as
glasses.
as long as we're in the metaverse, they can come crawling out of their pods.
So this is one step that needs to be taken. This is lizard people talking to lizard people, explaining just how they need to put all their money into metaverse advertising.
The economics.
Yeah, so they can make it a true reality, and that's what we'll be seeing coming up here.
It's break time! Come on, take a break.
And with that, folks, it's time to take a short break, but don't go anywhere, because after the break, we are going to be checking in with our COVID vaccine segment, checking in on old Billy Gates, seeing what's going on over there in Israel, and of course, a little bit of China news as well. And just fair warning to you YouTube viewers, get ready to open up another tab, open up another window, because to catch the second half of the broadcast here, you're going to need to go onto one of the alternative platforms. Okay, let's see here. Oh, yeah, value for value model, baby. Yeah, we're going to take some time and thank some producers. That's right. I said producers. We ain't got no advertisers here telling us what.
Oops, sorry. Sorry. Oh, no.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Take a break.
Okay, take two.
Sorry.
That pitch didn't start off good enough for Gons, so
No.
we're going at it again. Yes, you don't want advertisers deciding your reality, and that comes in many different forms. It also comes in the form of the advertising industry being the main funding mechanism for content creation, whether it's independent news media, whether it's YouTube or podcasts or wherever you're getting this. It's so easy nowadays to get advertisers for a show, especially one like this with the audience that we have. Oh man, this would be a gold mine for advertisers. But there's one big problem, folks, and that's in order for Gons and I to participate in that model, first we would have to start thinking of you, dear listener, as some sort of animal, some sort of commodity that we can package up and send off for our own personal game. And yeah, maybe not your physical form, but certainly your trust and your attention would need to be packaged up in some sort of sellable format, which doesn't feel right to us. But then, from your perspective, suddenly your favorite, corporate news media analysis and deconstruction program is taking money from corporations. And we all know what that means. When there's corporate money involved, there's corporate incentives involved. And that's just not the right thing for the show. The show would not be what it is if we had to rely on advertisers and sort of the mechanisms of the dark miasma of advertising industry benefiting from, the sort of subjugation of your minds and the manipulation, the soft manipulation of your psychology into, having to spend money on things that you don't really need, and, tricked into thinking that if you just spent a little bit more money on some doodad that your buddy Basil tells you to buy, then you'd finally find happiness and completeness. Nope, that's not for us, folks. Instead, we're on the value for value model. It's simple. We create value. We do it 3 times a week. And if you get any value out of what we do, you have the opportunity or the responsibility to put some value back in. Not because, it's just like a fun thing to do if you have extra money, not because we ask for it and, you just want to participate once in a while. Nope. Even more than any of those things, it's a realization that if it weren't for the producers of this show, the show probably wouldn't exist, not because we couldn't get advertisers, but because I don't think we could bring ourselves to do it at this point. Corporate incentives, corporate decision-making, and corporations putting value on the content that you appreciate is not a very cool way to do it. Instead, it's our producers that decide the value of this show, and that's why we thank them now, because they're taking responsibility for their own media future. And there's a couple of ways to do that. You can go over to patreon.com/CCNT if you want to sign up over there, or you can head on over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
Over there, you'll find all sorts of fun ways to support the show. If you're a cryptocurrency person, you can support the show with your crypto. You can find all our public wallets there. If you want to commit to keeping the show going, nice set it and forget it option. You just want to see the show go on forever. You want to continue to receive value week by week after week after, oh my gosh, it's the rest of our lives, Gons. Then you can come in on a monthly producership. But if commitment's not your thing, you can make a one-time producership in any amount. And Gons, who are we thanking today?
Well, we got an executive producer to thank. But before I do, just spend a second here. Basil, do you have your webcam balancing on a spinning top or something on your desk? It's been bouncing a lot today. It's not bouncing at this very
moment.
Not
on a spinning top. Okay. It is on my desk, but I do have my feet up inside. Does it bounce now? Does this do it?
Yep, it's bouncy, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I will try not to bounce.
Okay. Executive producer for this episode, we mentioned it at the top of the show, Oogly Boogly. Woo! And he came in with Bitcoin, 0.0242 Bitcoin.
Is this a crypto? Do I look like I know what a crypto is?
Where'd you find this?
Thank you very much, Oogly Boogly. We appreciate it, and you're really helping carry the show today. 0.0242 Bitcoin. Depending on when this got sent in, Oogly Boogly might be in line for some sort of knighthood soon.
Yeah, it might be close to the round table there. I mean, on a good Bitcoin day, that is a round table.
Yeah, exactly. So Oogly Boogly comes in with a note here, which I thought was pretty good. It says, I discovered the original Canary Cry radio podcast in October of 2021. The information I learned from the two of you and all your guests changed my life forever. All of you took the Bible, which I considered to be a mixture of fairy tales, feel-good life lessons, and changed it for me into spiritual truth, historical fact, and a solid worldview. I knelt before Christ in early November and asked him to please forgive me. I have gone on to listen to every episode of Canary Cry Radio, and I am up to episode 204 in News Talk.
Wow.
This is to show my deep gratitude and make up for months of mooching. Well, we better demooch them.
You've been
That's awesome.
Pleasure to demooch.
Yeah. What a great note. Thank you so much, Oogly Boogly. So first of all, so wonderful to hear the effect that our work has had on your life, and we're just delighted to hear that, and we'll be praying for you and thanking God for you for sure. And yes, to come in after, finding the show, appreciating the show, October 2021, that is not that long ago.
No, that's like 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, this is very recent. My goodness. Maybe, my gosh. Okay, so he's really been charging through the catalog there.
Yeah.
150 something episodes of Canary Cry Radio, 204 episodes of News Talk. Man, that means he listened to about 150 episodes of our old News Talk format.
Ooh.
the half-hour version. I guess you can really cruise through those episodes.
You can get through them a little faster, I suppose.
But what a fun experience to start News Talk at the beginning and see the development of everything we've been following. We yell about it all the time, how we've been talking about this for years.
Yeah.
Or like tracking the trends of Flippy and Metaverse and all this type of stuff since the beginning of the show. And it sounds like Oogly Boogly has gotten a crash course in the whole arc of our madness in just a few months. And then, to come in, get the value, and then come in immediately and get demooched in such an extravagant way. We're very deeply grateful for Oogly Boogly. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
He ends out here.
I'm sorry.
May God bless you all, Oogly Boogly. And he did put a PS, just to eliminate any confusion. I am a guy. Okay, good to know. Yes. Not going to lie. Had not considered it before you said that.
Didn't even cross my mind. But that's good. So before we do assume, thank you for the note, and thank you for the executive producership. And it really, I don't know for you, Basil, but for me, it's this kind of thing that confirms that what we're doing here and have been doing for so many years is there's some eternal consequence that that we can't wrap our heads around per se. Sure. But is taking place in the heavenly realm there. So
very cool. Thank you very much, executive producer Oogly Boogly.
Thank you, Oogly Boogly. All right, we got some more people to thank here. Oh no, we have a supply drop.
Woo!
Supply drop.
CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. Go check it out. Look, folks, we don't sell any merch. We don't do that kind of stuff. But for producers who commit to keeping the show going on a monthly basis, we have a very special thank you program that we're happy to talk about now. Once per quarter throughout the year, we'll be sending out supply drops to producers of the show who support for $33.33 or more a month. And we're coming up on the first one next month. And if you're interested, you should check it out. You can go to canarycrysupply.com. Apparel, accessories, I don't know, all sorts of cool stuff. I'm trying to think, my mind just got boggled by all this stuff. Survival gear, ARG, all sorts of fun stuff that we're sending out on the first supply drop ever, going out next month. The cutoff date for signups is in 7 days. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, but we're going to thank some of these supply droppers right now, starting with new supply dropper, Lucas M. Comes in with the 3s and the fees, and he sends a note, actually, I wanted to check out. He says, "Hi, I listened to CCR for a long time, then remember you starting CCNT and Basil's Joyspiracy podcast as 2 side projects. I can't remember why I may have stopped listening, but glad to know you guys are still going strong at least. Subscribed again and support again. Thank you. God bless. All the best." Thank you very much, Lucas M. Seems like he was a man overboard there for a little while, but he found his way back.
Yes, thank you very much, Lucas M. Sorry about that. Had the daughter come in, needed
no worries.
Assistance with something.
Next up, we have Maureen Believes, 33 plus fees.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
These are all supply
Maureen.
drop people, huh?
These are all, yes, supply droppers.
Got it.
And let me just check something real quick. I think Maureen had a note that I wanted to check. Yes, dear Basil and Gons, I'm now an official supply drop producer. Yay me! God bless you and all that you do to spread the good news of Jesus Christ, and also keeping us and the world informed about those sneaky lizard people. God bless. Maureen Believes. Thank you very much, Maureen.
Thank you, Maureen.
Next up, we have producer Michael R.
Thank you, Michael R.
That's right. Comes in with the 3s. Thank you very much to all of the supply drop producers. Everybody, go check it out. Only 7 days left to sign up for this first quarter. And you're not going to want to miss this one. Don't hold back because you want to see what's in there for the first one. There's all sorts of collectible stuff that'll never go out again. And it'll be really cool. We continue to inch closer to our 100 sign up goal by the end of the month. And we're trying to do that not just arbitrarily, but because we can start buying stuff in bulk, which means we can get cooler stuff for cheaper, which means not only do you get value from the show, you'll get value from the the supply drop, but also all the other producers will be, the whole supply drop will increase in value. So go check it out, canarycrysupply.com.
There you go. All right, we got some more people to thank.
Mm-hmm.
Starting off with producer Morv.
Producer Morv is on a streak.
Oh, he's on a streak, yep.
57 episodes in a row. He comes in with 11 and 11 plus fees, and that is not his note. He did not have a note.
Oh.
Somebody else's note got put under his thing. Thank you very much, Producer Morv.
Thank you, Producer Morv. Next up, excuse me, is Palmer B.
Palmer B is on a streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
26 episodes in a row. I've got such a frog in my throat. I'm trying to drink some water.
We both have a thing going on. I have the mute button here, so clearing my throat here.
There you go. 26 episodes from Palmer B. Thank you very much. She comes in with the 1001.
1001. Amen.
And a note, shalom, my dudes. Have a blessed week. Thank you very much, Palmer.
Thank you very much, Palmer B. Next up, we have JC.
JC's on a streak. 73 episodes in a row. Thank you, JC, coming in with the 1001.
1001. Amen.
And a note that says, Gary, what day is it?
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
Chill vibes.
Hope everyone is having a good start to the work week. Love you guys. Thanks, JC.
Thank you, JC. Next up, we have Heather Soros.
Yes, this time I spelt it Heathersaurus.
Right, yes.
Yeah. On a streak.
Yes. Wait. Here we go.
61 episodes in a row, coming in with the 1001.
1001. Amen.
Happy Monday, all. Can I get 3 random jingles? Thanks and much love.
3 random jingles.
Get that cat out of here.
Yes, sir.
Ugly, horrible person. Hold on. I need 3, right? Okay, hold on.
That was
State
3.
and federal health officials
put aside any ideological considerations. There will be breakthrough infection. Get double vaccination followed by a boost and a boost and a boost, and make sure you get another booster. The virus is going to find you. It's semantics.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it's Learbag 3K jingle.
Oh, we haven't played that one recently, at least. Thank you very much, Heathersaurus.
Heathersaurus. Okay, they have transformed into a new creature.
We'll see if it sticks.
Yeah. Next up, we have Sir Sigurd the Beast.
Sir Sigurd the Beast is on a streak.
Streak.
9 episodes in a row, which means Sir Sigurd the Beast is lit,
Where'd
fam.
you find this? Hey, you lit now.
Hey.
1001.
1001. Amen.
He sent us a nice long explanation of the stock buyouts questions from last episode. Thank you for that, Sir Sigurd.
Thank you.
I hope my explanation of stock buyouts was helpful. It was.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next up, we have Naomi Q.
Naomi Q comes in. Thank you very much, Naomi. Nice big round number there, and no notes. So just our gratitude.
Thank you very much. I don't recognize Naomi Q's name, so if it's your first time,
I think it's a first. I haven't seen Naomi Q. We would demooch, but we don't demooch anybody who doesn't want to be demooched.
Yeah, we're not rude like that.
Nah.
All right.
Thanks, Naomi.
Thank you, Naomi Q. Welcome. Next up, we have Gail M.
Gail M is on a streak, baby.
Yes, she is.
87 episodes in a row. Big old streak. Getting close there, Gail. And Gail did have a note, which I accidentally put under more.
Okay.
I got it here. It says, "Hi, my sweeties. I haven't received..." Nope, that's from a different time. Here it is. Hola, chicos dulce. I know streak 88 is sometime soon, so just in case it's today, yippee to me, the streak sister. Yes, yippee to you, Gail, and you are so close. 1 episode away, but you did feel it correctly. The feeling of 88 is around here. So thank you very much, Gail. Oh, and by the way, yes, Gail's gratitude grab bag is still continuing. We're going to get a safer email address for her to, she has one here. So if you're one of the Valentine's card design winners, send an email to canarypeeps@yahoo.com. Canary, Peeps. Oh, there's some like multi-dimensional meaning to that. At yahoo.com. And as Gail continues to award people with the Gail's Gratitude Grab Bag, that will be the email that the winners will contact. So there you go. Okay, thank you very much, Gail.
Thank you, Gail. Next up, we have Joshua M.
Joshua M. You know what? I think Joshua was one of the guys who came in recently. Maybe he's not on a streak, but I think this is his second time producing here. Comes in with 7s and fees, and he has a note that says, "Hey, Basil and Gons, hope everything is well. Can I get a soundboard mix from Gons? Also, Basil, you encouraged me to try some skating over the weekend, so I went with a few buddies from my Bible study and did a skate and Bible study session. God bless." That is so fun. Awesome. Wow. I feel, I'm glad people listen to this show and sort of respect our opinion on things, but the fact that people are listening to me when I say skating, That's the new thing, folks. I know it's the old thing, but get out there and skate if you haven't skated. Thank you, Joshua. You got a couple jingles for him?
State and federal health officials.
Get that cat out of here.
You know what? Nobody likes you, Booster.
Okay. Thank you, Joshua.
Thank you very much, Joshua. Next up, we have Ernesto Q.
Ernesto Q comes in for Pocket Full of Sevens and Fees. And has made that a recurring producership. Thank you very much, Ernesto.
Thank you, Ernesto. Appreciate that. Next, we have Sir Scott, Knight of Truth.
And big day, Gons, because Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, has reached the 111th episode of his streak.
Yeah!
Tweaker.
Oh, yeah!
Man, thank you so much.
And we have a 111 jingle,
Yes, we
don't
do.
we? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you should have warned me about that before the show. I would have prepared myself a little better.
I got lots of things to worry about. I'll tell you what.
So do I. Let me see if I can find it.
Okay, we'll
Does
take
he
a
have a
second
note?
to. No.
No. Oh, great.
Just take a second to find that, and I'll mention that, yes, if you're new to the show, these streakers have been producing the show in many episodes in a row. In Sir Scott's case, 111 episodes. We like to celebrate different, checkpoints along the streak journey with a very fun jingle. So if you're out there and you're thinking you want to play the producer game here, go ahead and give it a try. We should put these different levels on the canarycryradio.com/support. I'm going to put that on the list. It would be fun to have those out there so people can see them ahead of time.
Here we go.
Triple ones. Triple ones.
Triple ones. Thank you,
ones.
Sir Scott, Knight of Truth.
Thank you, Sir Scott, Knight of Truth. Next up, we have Jack V.
Jack V, what's up, buddy? Comes in with 7.7 ADA.
Is
Cardano.
this a crypto?
Cardano?
Crypto?
Ouroboros?
Do I look like I know what a crypto is?
There's a note here. This is Jack V typing live from warm, sunny California. Always warm, always sunny. Sometimes California.
Do you know what that reference is?
I do not.
Every single time Charles Hoskinson, who is the head guy for Cardano, every time he does a video, he says that. He goes, "Well, coming at you live from warm, sunny Denver, Colorado. Always sunny, or always warm, always." Sometimes sunny, whatever he says there.
Yeah. Well, Jack V, our Gen Z crypto Chad, truly lives up to his name because that is such a deep cut. Thank you, Jack V, for that lesson. Just sent you two bros some of the best crypto around. That ADA, 7.7 of it. Ooh, woo. But I wanted to say I had a dream about Basil the other night. Ooh. In my dream, Basil took off his VR goggles. Oh. And he turned out to be Vitalik Buterin. Vitalik Buterin, for those who need some review, is the, what would you call him? Inventor?
He's the founder, creator of Ethereum.
Ethereum, yeah, big crypto guy.
He's a Russian guy. He looks like an alien, to be honest.
Yes. Well, who knows? I might look like an alien.
That's true.
Then he let me wear his goggles. Ooh, wow. The mantle has been passed. Was kind of weird, but thought you'd enjoy that, Mr. Homeless Man. Love you guys. Can I get as many random jingles as possible before the homeless man gets cranky? Thank you, NFT Boomer. We'll see. I'm going to get cranky pretty quick.
Spread misinformation on their podcast.
You're a breaker, one niner.
I don't know what that was.
That was Allie's. Happy
sorry,
birthday
my jingle board. I'm just getting loose with it, and whatever
that's
comes
fun,
up.
Though. It's fun. We have that little clip of Ebony Blaze.
Ebony Blaze.
All right. That concludes. Let me just do a quick little checkeroonski. That concludes the. No, it doesn't. Okay, we got a few little guys coming in. Here we go. A couple more people coming in. Oh my goodness. Okay. Robert T has come in. If you'd write these down, please.
Thank you, Robert T.
Thank you, Robert T. Comes in with a nice round number. Appreciate that, Robert Tufts. Dang it. And everybody, I can't read it straight from this. I apologize. Just so you know, if you're new to the show, if it's a nice round number coming in as your producership, we don't read the amount. We always lean towards less information. But if you want us to read the amount, you put a little signal in there. Some people put some random amount of cents, make the numbers weird, and then we'll read the amount. There is a note here from Robert that says, God bless and keep it up. I salute you guys and thanks for the proper content and amazing info. And of course, all the laughs. Praise Jesus. Thank you very much, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Yeah, very generous.
Yes. Next up, we have, a supply drop producer just came in. So we will thank them now. And their name, wait.
I think I know what you're looking at here.
I can't tell if this is, I don't know if this is a supply drop. Well, I'll just say producer Jason G just came in with $33.33 plus fees. Thank you, Jason. And a note here, been watching for a while. This is my first time donating. Time for demooching.
Demooched. Glad to do it.
I was led to give you part of my tithing this month. You guys have an awesome ministry. Thanks for keeping it wholesome. That's a rare thing these days. The truth shall set us free. Amen, Jason.
Amen.
Thank you so much. And yes, some people do, include us in their tithing, and we're very honored by that and take that very seriously. So thank you, Jason.
Thank you very much.
All right. One last one here. Oh, my goodness. Okay. This one comes in from producer Cherie. Yes, Cherie.
Thank you, Cherie.
Trying to remember if Cherie had a dame name or something. Cherie comes in with $13.33. Says, hey, friends, I know this is cutting it close. Yes, it is, Cherie. But
made it.
Caught it at the last second. But I'm hoping it'll make it in. Okay. I haven't been able to produce for a few months because my husband and I are buying our first house. Oh my gosh, congratulations. And every cent had to go to that. More on all that later. Today, I need to focus to be on calling the producers to assemble.
Producers, assemble!
Okay, producers, here you go. Listen up. My precious adopted sister, Lynn, has been struggling so much the past few months, almost completely due to COVID. Every time I've spoken to her, she's been in tears. Her insurance company has been slow to cover her income from missed days, and everything else has snowballed from there. There are other things going on, too, so if y'all could be so kind as to lift her up in your loving and wonderful 2-hour loving and wonderful Father, it would be so appreciated. Thank you, dearest friends. Cherie, Illuminati handler message complete. Thank you very much, Cherie. And
Thank
yes,
you, Cherie.
producers out there, we're keeping Lynn in our prayers because of just a bunch of snowballing nonsense from health issues and insurance companies. That's always something that needs prayer for sure.
Yeah.
So we're praying for you, Lynn. And thank you very much for your producership, Cherie.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that concludes our producers who've come in the amount of 777 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. We've got a few more to thank here who came in under that, starting with producer Puddin22.
Thank you, Puddin22.
On a 4-episode streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
Threes and fees.
Cat, right? I don't know.
Yes,
maybe
this is the cat who has stolen.
Okay, yes. All right,
the credit card. Next up, we've got Child of God on a 56-episode streak.
Thank you, Child of God.
Threes and fees. Next up, we got Jackie U on a 28-episode streak. Threes and fees.
Thank you, Jackie U.
She's on a streak.
Women rule!
We got Veronica D on an 87-episode streak.
Thank you, Veronica D. 80. Oh, that's right. Her. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yes. Here we go. Getting ready for that 88. Veronica D and Gail M are about to become time travelers.
Oh, yes. Next up, we got the Sir Casey, the Shield Knight, on a 121 episode streak.
Yeah! Thank you so much.
Yeah, is for sure. Comes in with a pocket full of threes. Thank you, Sir Casey.
Thank you, Sir Casey.
Last but not least, we've got the good Doctor Who done dat on a 58 episode streak. Threes and fees.
Doctor Who done dat.
Okay, and thank you for everybody's patronage. Let's check in on some. We've got one voicemail to check in on.
Do you want to do? Oh yeah, okay. So here we go.
Shut up and take my money. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message.
Beep. Message. Oh, I dodged it that time.
You kind of did dodge it, yeah.
I dodged it. Okay. Yes. So if you go to canarycrynewstalk.com, on the right-hand side of the page, you'll see a green tab. That green tab, if you click on it, will allow you to leave us a voice message on the site, which we love to put on the show. Isn't that so much fun, everybody? Go do it. canarycrynewstalk.com just that, canarycrynewstalk.com. Green tab on the right-hand side. You can just say hi to us. You can shout out to listeners. You can thank producers or leave us your very own report that we would love to play on the show. Another thing that's been happening is celebrities will call in.
Oh.
And yeah.
I didn't know we were this popular.
Oh, you knew this. We had, there's a current civil war going on, Canary Cry Civil War, regarding the Wednesday jingle. And started with Arnold Schwarzenegger called in, had something to say. Then The Godfather called in, had something to say. And now we've got a very special message coming in to weigh in from Ben Shapiro, the Waffle Man himself.
Look, everybody, I hate to get involved in needless tripe, but here's the thing. Arnold Schwarzenegger came out in support of the Wednesday jingle. And then the mob boss, ruthless criminal that peddles drugs and traffics alcohol on our streets, the Godfather of all people, decided to come out in support of the new Wednesday jingle. Here's the thing, everybody. Are you going to acquiesce to a crime syndicate boss? No, I don't. It's not a good idea. This is the outright obvious tactics of the left, and nobody's agreeing or can surmise why with the people that want to support the new Wednesday jingle. I mean, look, everybody, if you don't like the old Wednesday jingle, there's something intrinsically wrong with you. Something deeply disturbing. The old Wednesday jingle is a lot like waffles. You see, because everybody loves waffles.
Nice.
There's something deeply disturbed with everybody that wants to support the new Wednesday jingle, and I, for one, will not stand for it. Okay, and so that's the message. Anyways, let's hear from word from our sponsor. You have hair. Everybody has hair, except for Donald Trump. Apparently, one thing you can do to preserve your hair.
That's where it ends.
That's where it ends. That's funny.
Everybody loves waffles.
Once he started doing an ad, we had to cut him off. Thank you very much, Ben Shapiro, for calling into the show, weighing in on the Wednesday jingle debacle. I think.
I think Ben Shapiro's been drinking. He was a little slow.
A little bit.
He got a little
caught up, but still good. Maybe he was, he just woke up or something, and he just woke up, and the first thing he had to do was weigh in on Canary Cry News Talk.
Everybody loves waffles.
Love it, love it. Can't wait to hear from what other celebrities or internet personalities have to think about the Wednesday jingle or just anything else going on the show. Truly a valuable service, this voice message thing has become to the show. We really appreciate everybody participating. And you can too. Go to canarycrynewstalk.com, little green button on the right-hand side. Click it and leave us a message, baby. We love to add it on the show. And I think that is it, Gons. I think we should wake on up here.
Yes, it's wake-up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
It's Corona time. COVID-19. COVID-19.
Oh.
It's okay. It's okay. Hold on.
COVID-19. Yes. COVID-19. COVID-19.
Vaccine, number one way.
We're taking things that are genetically modified organisms and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein. Right into the vein.
We're about to talk about Bill Gates. So,
and
YouTube.
COVID and vaccines and all sorts of stuff. And that means we're going to be too hot for YouTube.
Sorry, YouTube. But come find us on other platforms, mainly Odyssey. That's a good one to do, or Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see you there. So
you can find all of our alternate platforms over at canarycry.party. Again, Twitch, YouTube. No, not YouTube. Twitch, Rumble, DLive, Odyssey. Even just Twitter or Facebook. We are streaming there. The chat doesn't work, though. Yeah. If you want your chat to be in the broadcast, which a lot of people do, you got to do the Twitch for
Twitch
now.
Or DLive.
Or DLive, yes. Twitch or DLive gets the chat into the show. So, okay.
All right.
All right, YouTube.
Bye, Susan.
Bye, YouTube. Bye.
Okay. We need a sound effect for that.
I know.
Here we go.
It's
Washington Examiner. Bill Gates, Omicron did a better job building immunity than COVID-19 vaccines.
Wait a second.
What?
Wait a second.
What? What are you? This is Bill Gates.
Bill Gates said this.
Yeah, at the Munich event here. It's been going viral, but here he is, right out of the horse's mouth.
Where would you assess where we are today in beating COVID-19?
Well, sadly, the virus itself, particularly the variant called Omicron, is a type of vaccine. That is, it creates both B cell and T cell immunity, and it's done a better job of getting out to the world population than we have with vaccines.
He called Omicron a vaccine.
Did he?
The virus itself, particularly, sadly,
in beating COVID-19.
Well, sadly, the virus itself, particularly the variant called Omicron, is a type of vaccine that.
Whoa.
Omicron is a type of vaccine.
Whoa, bro. Misinformation, malinformation, all the things. All the things. That literally got us kicked off of YouTube twice, saying that kind of thing.
Unbelievable.
Does this mean we can appeal our last strike? We just send them this clip as evidence.
I don't think it works like that.
I don't think. Yes, it's not about facts or science or anything like that. It
really is not about that anymore. But yeah, unbelievable. And the whole sentiment here. I have another clip as it continues on here. The whole thing is how we did okay with the vaccines, but we can do better. And it took Omicron to, basically end COVID.
Which is what we've been saying since the beginning of Omicron. Wow, that is incredible. Straight out of the man's mouth, huh?
If you do sero surveys in African countries, you get well over 80% of people have been exposed either to the vaccine or to various variants. And so, what that does is it means the chance of severe disease, which is mainly associated with being elderly and having obesity or diabetes, those risks are now dramatically reduced because of that infection exposure. And, it's sad. We didn't do a great job on therapeutics, only here 2 years in. Do we have a good therapeutic? Vaccines, it took us 2 years to be in a supply. Today, there are more vaccines.
Yeah.
He's loud. That's one of his tells is he does this little chuckle.
Mm-hmm.
You notice it every single time he's kind of like, I don't know, trying to dispense some sort of quote unquote obvious information.
Right.
We did a bad job with therapeutic.
We didn't do a great job on therapeutics. Only here 2 years in, do we have a good therapeutic? Vaccines, it took us 2 years to be in oversupply. Today, there are more vaccines than there is demand for vaccines.
That's not what the UN and the World Health Organization and those guys are saying.
That's very unwoke of him.
Yeah. More vaccines than demand. What are you talking about? Where's the equity?
Yeah, and you know what's so funny is who is telling the truth there? Because the WHO is saying, it's so racist. All the rich countries have so many vaccines, and the poorer countries don't have any. And this is, a call for equity and to get basically to ask for money and campaign for fundraising. But here's Bill Gates, who's involved in that whole process. He's like his Gavi thing, his Covavax. He's involved in the donation,
the financial
of vaccines,
part of it.
Right, trying to send vaccines to third world countries at the same time that he's stopping other countries from making their own vaccines, legally halting their ability to make their own vaccine. And yeah, it's funny. There's more vaccines than there is demand. Nobody wants them. It's not because they don't have them. It's because they don't want them.
Vaccines than there is demand for vaccines. And that wasn't true. And next time we should try and make it, instead of 2 years, we should make it more like 6 months, which certainly, some of the standardized platform approaches, including mRNA, would allow us to do that. So, it took us a lot longer this time than it should have.
So now the narrative, according to Bill Gates here, is, 2 years to get the vaccine out to everybody. It took too long. We need to do it in 6 months.
We need to do it in 6 months. That is crazy. And the sad part is that he's probably right that they could do it in 6 months.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I mean at this point in the narrative shift, so many people who are vaxxed and some of them who are boosted, they are done with it. They don't want to take anything else.
I think they need a few years to let this settle down.
Let it simmer down.
Down, because you kind of need not just like a next generation. It doesn't even have to be a full generation. It just has to be like a new group of young people coming in, and then the people in their 20s can be like, I was 13 when COVID hit. Now we have Supercron or whatever is going to be rolling out there, and it'll be a way that they can really lock it down.
The programming of the youth has been complete. So in a few years, all the 15-year-olds who are sort of like radicalized into loving, the vaccines by their teachers or whatever, they'll be 18 and they'll be first in line to get whatever's next.
Yeah. So pretty alarming stuff coming out of Bill Gates, but also it's kind of,
they just can't help but give it away, can't they?
Well, especially old Billy over here. He's there's some humor, and I think all the hatred he sees online makes him angry still, and like you can kind of tell it bothers him that people don't like him.
Oh yeah, he loves to be loved. That's why he spends millions of dollars a year on PR firms.
Yeah, it's so weird.
People, there's been wonderful breakdowns of just how much money Bill Gates spends on his own publicity.
Yeah.
He loves to be loved, which, we all do, but we all don't have millions of dollars.
to force it upon us. See, that's the thing that's crazy is that his sort of the people that really follow him and trust him and do all that, they're kind of in that world, the financial bubble that would blind you into being like, oh, of course we love Bill Gates. Of course, the rest of the world is looking at this going, insane madman. And anybody who follows everything he says, insanity, mad people.
You just gotta, again, it's not even like a personal thing. Like, do you like him or do you not like him? All it is just listen to what he says.
Yeah.
Most people who love him don't actually listen to him or know anything about him.
They like what he represents, like the mythos of Bill Gates.
And they feel how the news tells them to feel.
Yeah.
The news will tell them, oh, Bill Gates is a good guy. He does a lot of vaccine stuff, even though he's not qualified and he's just a billionaire and doesn't actually and blah, 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 blah. And
Can you
so
imagine
they'll do it. They'll love him.
If we got hired on by Bill Gates to be his PR firm, we would have so much fun with him. We'd make him do so many crazy things just to make him do it.
You know what? For whatever he's paying for PR, yeah, we can give you a lot of value.
There's this is not a mainstream outlet. This is a Substack article, but I wanted to just mention it and have a couple highlights to talk about what this article is explaining. It was written by Josh Gutskow, and it's for the Jackanapes Junction. The Israeli Ministry of Health actually did a survey of adverse events after the booster dose. So this is in Israel. And there's a bunch of corrections in here, so it makes it kind of hard to wade through. And remember, it's Substack, so it's kind of a blog style. It says here, well, surprise, surprise, the Israeli Ministry of Health conducted an actual survey of about 2,000 people 3 to 4 weeks after they received the third booster shot of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine, asking them about the adverse events they experienced following vaccination. The results are absolutely devastating to the COVID-19 vaccine program and the push for vaccine mandates. It says here... let's see. Yeah, this is after more than a year that every talking head on TV and every newspaper, large and small, assured the Israeli public that they were monitoring the safety of the vaccines, and that they were obviously extremely safe because there were very few reports, and most of them were extremely minor, and you weren't crazy conspiracy theorists to doubt it. And it goes on here. So the data, what this person here extracts is a couple things here. 0.29% of people, according to the survey, reported hospitalization as a result of the adverse events they experienced, not just the emergency room, but actually being hospitalized. Think this is impossibly high. Read the footnote. If the numbers are wrong, the MOH, the Ministry of Health, needs to say so and explain how they messed up. Israel has administered about 4.5 million booster doses so far, which equates to over 13,000 hospitalizations. So he's taking that percentage, the 0.29, and applying it to, the greater population of Israel, citizens of Israel, and saying that if the numbers are correct in percentage, then 13,000 people have been hospitalized after their third booster. And then if you do that same calculation for America, now you're talking over 250,000 hospitalizations after their third booster. And that the point he's making with this Substack article is that that's a lot of people that are getting hospitalized, even if it's on the lower end, let's say 200,000 people. Mm-hmm. That's still a lot of people that, even at 0.29%, is it really safer? Is it really... Does the vaccine protection that they keep touting really outweigh the risks? So, right. It's just one of those things. And then I tried to look into the actual study, but it's all in Hebrew, so it would take me a very, very long time to translate all that. So I didn't do that. But the links are in the description if anybody wants to really dig into that.
This is actually really good. And I'm sorry, I meant to bring something else here that fits in so well with this, and I'm not going to take a lot of time. But when it comes to Israeli data, we've been going through this Israeli data thing for so long. And, if you start looking at the Israeli data, people call you a conspiracy theorist, and, it's a whole thing. And why is it exactly that we have to rely on the Israeli data. It's been a thorn in the side of the powers that be
and the American mainstream narrative.
Exactly. We're always referring to this Israeli data, and even Fauci himself said, "Don't look at the Israeli data."
And then, like a week later, Israeli data suggests.
Exactly. He flip flops. he refers to the Israeli data when it helps him, and then tells you to ignore it when it goes against something he wants you to do.
Yeah.
And so that's been a problem throughout the pandemic. Well, what dropped today was an article. I threw it in the doc there for you, Gons, from the New York Times.
Ooh.
The New York Times, the Gray Lady, has an article here that goes like this. The headline: CDC isn't publishing large portions of the COVID-19 data it collects. For more than a year. Remember, this is the New York Times. I got another thing we can look at in a second, but just to give you an idea. For more than a year, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has collected data on hospitalizations for COVID-19 in the United States and broke it down by age, race, and vaccination status. But it has not made most of the information public. When the CDC... What?
I'm having a visceral reaction to that sentence. Like I don't know. We've been saying this for the entire time.
It's a lot, man.
Entire time.
Every episode, we're vindicated.
Gosh.
Yeah. When the CDC published the first significant data 2 weeks ago. So the first significant data drop the CDC has done during the pandemic was only 2 weeks ago. When the CDC published the first significant data 2 weeks ago on the effectiveness of boosters in adults younger than 65, it left out the numbers for a huge portion of the population, 18 to 49-year-olds. The group the data showed was least likely to benefit from extra shots because the first 2 doses already left them well protected. It's the New York Times. That's what you're going to get. The agency recently debuted a dashboard. So the background on this was they released this data, and they specifically said anybody younger than 65 will benefit from a booster.
Mm-hmm.
But the data that they were using to support that did not include 18 to 49-year-olds, which is most people. So when they say younger than 65, adults younger than 65, you're supposed, you think, okay, 18 to 65. But the data that they used to say that only went from age 50 to 65. So, I don't know what to call that, if not an outright lie.
Lie by omission?
Lie with statistics.
Yeah.
Wow. But that's your CDC. The agency recently debuted a dashboard of wastewater data on its website. There's the sewer surveillance. They'll be updated daily and might provide early signals. We know that. 2 full years into the pandemic, the agency leading the country's response to the public health emergency has published only a tiny fraction of the data it has collected. Several people familiar with the data said much of the withheld information could help state and local health officials better target their efforts to bring the virus under control. Apparently not. Detailed, timely data. So this is the New York Times spin on it. CDC bad because we could beat COVID if they didn't hide their data. Detailed, timely data on hospitalizations by age and race would help health officials identify and help the populations at highest risk. Information on hospitalizations and death by age and vaccination status would have helped inform whether healthy adults needed booster shots, and wastewater surveillance across the nation would spot outbreaks, emerging variants early. Without the booster data for 18 to 49-year-olds, the outside experts whom federal health agencies look to for advice had to rely on numbers from Israel to make their recommendations on the shots. So that's why we have to rely on Israel's data, is because the CDC has been hiding information for years.
Wow.
And why would they do this? Well, Kristen Nordlund, a spokesperson for the CDC, said the agency has been slow to release the different streams of data, quote, because basically at the end of the day, it's not yet ready for prime time.
What?
She said the agency's priority when gathering any data is to ensure that it's accurate and actionable.
Accurate for some agenda.
Kristen Nordlund, the spokesperson, said we've been hiding information, critical information in the depths of a global pandemic because it's not ready for prime time. Which is a vague statement. It's a silly statement. It's a vague statement. But what does that statement actually mean? What that means is that the data did not fit.
It didn't fit the narrative.
The prime time narrative.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it means. How would the data collected by the CDC not be ready for prime time? Well, really think about it. Prime time is the mainstream media. That's the mainstream, most highly watched, highly observed, listened to, trusted information outflow. And if your data is not ready for prime time, it means they didn't have a way to present it that kept the narrative going.
Oh, look at the next line in the article.
Yeah. Another reason is fear that the information might be misinterpreted, Nordlund said. Oh, yes. You just hate to put out data that told people that they didn't need to let the governments of the world take away all their rights and, welfare and livelihood and trap them in their homes like animals and get them fired for no reason. Yeah, if the data doesn't support that, it's not ready for prime time, baby. Dr. Daniel Jernigan, the agency's deputy director for public health science and surveillance, said the pandemic exposed the fact that data systems at the CDC and the state levels are outmoded and not up to handling large volumes of data. CDC scientists are trying to modernize the systems. Oh, weird. Suddenly, exactly.
Did we say about this whole thing?
Listen to that flip. They go from, the data wasn't ready for prime time. And then they flip to, the systems are bad. We can't handle large data. We're the CDC, and we've been the CDC, and we've been responsible for data collection and interpretation for the health of the country for decades and decades and decades. Oh, but no, suddenly we have too much data. It's too much data, man. Quote, we want better, faster data that can lead to decision-making and actions at all levels of public health. Yeah, more tyranny. That can help us eliminate the lag in data that's held us back. That's that 6 months Bill Gates is talking about.
Yeah.
They don't want to take 2 years. They want to take 6 months. Well, we need faster computers at the CDC, apparently. The CDC also has multiple bureaucratic divisions that must sign off on important publications, and its officials must alert the Department of Health and Human Services, which oversees the agencies, and the White House of their plans.
So much stuff.
I know.
So you're they're basically admitting that either up until this point, well, obviously they're admitting that they didn't share the data, but the news media outlets like the New York Times, are they basically saying like, yeah, what we've been reporting on is just whatever we were told? Mm-hmm. Or are they trying to, because it sounds kind of, they're all kind of like on the case of the CDC, like as if they're kind of angry about it.
The CDC is the whipping boy right now.
It's just so bizarre.
It's been happening for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I know, but they've been, I don't know, to this degree, it's just wild, man. Mm-hmm. But go on.
Oh, it gets even better. This is a quote, and we just need to make it all the way through the quote because there's so many things wrong here. The CDC is a political organization as much as it is a public health organization, said Samuel Scarpino, managing director of pathogen surveillance at the Rockefeller Foundation's Pandemic Prevention Institute. Cool. Quote, the steps that it takes to get something like this released are often well outside of the control of many of the scientists that work at the CDC. Okay, so this guy, this Rockefeller guy, let's just say it, says that the CDC is a political organization. What have we been told over and over and over and over and over that the science isn't political? You're politicizing
Science
masks.
is truth.
You're politicizing vaccines. You're politicizing this. You're politicizing that, and it's all geared towards punking people who are skeptical of the narrative. Oh, you're just politicizing it. You're a bad person. Well, this Rockefeller guy right now is saying that the CDC is a political organization. So you can deduce from this article that the CDC is not releasing information because it's not ready to support the primetime narrative because it's a political organization. So whatever it's doing is for political purposes, and it's literally laying out piece by piece how the CDC is a political organization who releases or doesn't release information to the public for political reasons, which doesn't come as a surprise to any of us here. We've known this since the beginning, but now it is on the New York Times. And I don't want to drag this out any longer, so let me just hit a couple more things. The entire article is very long, and it is just filled. If you just follow it logically, it is just filled with a complete breakdown, like a complete analysis of how the entire pandemic has been in the control. The info flow has been in control of political forces for political reasons.
Listen to this sentence. The CDC.
Is it the next one? Oh, you're going down,
I'm
right?
going way down. The CDC,
hold on. Don't go far down yet.
All right.
Keep it highlighted. The performance of vaccines and boosters, particularly in younger adults, is among the most glaring omissions in data the CDC has made public. Specifically vaccines and boosters is the information that has been held back for political reasons. Oh, weird. It's almost like conspiracy theorists have been right all along. All right, I'm sorry. Go. Read your part.
There's a sentence here that says the CDC has received more than $1 billion to modernize its systems, which may help pick up the pace, Nordland said. Quote, we're working on that.
Bro, they've rejected offers in the past to update their system. They have outright turned down funding. As if they wanted.
No, this is part of the gray reset. This is part of exposing the old infrastructure and what's going to come in with the new. This is kind of a turf war. I can see the CDC dying here, or needing a real serious upgrade with the technology. It'll be interesting to see what happens as a result of this. But wow,
listen to this. I know we're going over. We might need to skip a story or two, but this is it right here. Last year, the agency repeatedly came under fire for not tracking so-called breakthrough infections in vaccinated Americans. Yeah, remember that? And focusing only on individuals who became ill enough to be hospitalized or die. The agency presented that information as risk comparisons with unvaccinated adults rather than provide timely snapshots of hospitalized patients stratified by age, sex, race, and vaccination status. Clearly manipulating the data for political purposes. But the CDC has been routinely collecting information since the COVID-19 vaccines were first rolled out last year, according to a federal official familiar with the effort. The agency has been reluctant to make those figures public, the official said, because they might be misinterpreted as the vaccines being ineffective.
Because maybe
Because if the data says they're ineffective,
they're probably ineffective.
That's how science works.
Science is truth.
Yeah, Nordland confirmed that as one of the reasons. Another reason she said, is that the data represents only 10% of the population of the U.S., but the CDC has relied on the same level of sampling to track influenza for years. So they're scrambling for reasons. They're saying, "Oh, we didn't release it because it's only 10% of the population." Well, that's how data works, bro. You're not going to test every single human being. That's how that's how science works. You take a sample.
That's what they want, though.
You deduce from the sample. And that's what you've been doing for decades. Your entire structure is built on this sampling. You've been doing it for influenza. You do it for literally every disease, but you don't want to do it for COVID for some bizarre reason. Well, it's not bizarre. It's politics. They had to do it for Biden. And there you go. It goes on and gets more and more egregious as you go. Remember, go to sign up for our newsletter, guys. canarycry.party. We send out all of our sources every week to all the shows. This needs to get out there. This is a New York Times article. Any normie in your life who needs a little breakdown of why we've been skeptical of the CDC for so long, the New York Times is here to explain it.
2 years too late.
2 years too late, but there you go. Yeah, they already. So sorry about that. I thought that was a pretty important connection, though.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
We are taking our second break here where we thank our producers for their talent. And we consider Canary Cry News Talk to be a place of therapeutic reflection of our troubling times, and we encourage producers to express that and share what they're feeling with art and music and ISOs and laughter.
Indeed.
All the things, and we like to share that here. And to get things going here, we are going to check in with the audio producers. Here we go.
Audio Productions.
Yes. Audio productions, jingles, ISOs, music, all the different ways. We have a lot of audio
today.
Yeah. We're going to kick it off with producer MCL. He says, I made a new streak jingle. I know we're getting producers up there in numbers, so to mix it up, here's a jingle, ISO, whichever. You can use it if you like. If not, that's cool. Here it is, the new streak jingle.
Well, yes, they call him the street. That's thing on 2 feet.
I like it. Straight clip.
That's fun. Yeah, that's a great get.
Pretty good. Thank you very much, producer MLC. Long time.
Indeed.
Next, we have one from Psalm 40. He's a note. Hey there, fellas. I hope you had a beautiful weekend and a bountiful Sabbath. This week I present the Gospel of John, chapters 1 through 5. Enjoy. God bless, and thanks for all you guys do.
Okay.
Here is a small sample of Psalm 40's new track here.
Yeah. You might have to start it like a minute or two in.
Yeah.
Okay.
The darkness shall not overcome it. He was in the world that he had created, yet the world did not know him. He even came to his own people, and they did not accept him. But to all who do receive him, who believe in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. They will not be born of flesh.
All right, we'll play the whole track at the end.
That's awesome.
No one has ever seen God.
Sounds good. Love it.
Thank you very much, Psalm 40.
Thank you, Psalm 40.
Yeah, we'll be playing that at the end of the show, the Canary Cry mixtape, so stick around.
Yep. Next up, we have Jonathan F. came in with the note here. Hello, my name is Jonathan, and I've been listening to Gons since the beginning of the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel sprang up.
Whoa.
Wow.
A long time. It's like 15 years or something.
September 2011, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just over 10, I guess. We're on our year 11, even though the channel doesn't exist anymore. I figured it was time to demooch and help with the podcast. Enjoy the first of many jingles.
Okay.
Okay, so a little demooching to step into producing here. And he gave us a couple of them here. First one is, you just got Veritased.
Just got Veritased.
It's a good one for any time people get Veritased.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that'll catch. I'm pretty sure it'll catch on, and we can just claim to be the first, but we won't get credit, per usual.
Yeah.
Next one here, we have a climate change Bill Gates mashup here.
Climate change.
Climate change.
Brainless.
I don't know why there's
That's funny.
Funny noises in there.
Thank you, Jonathan.
But thank you, Jonathan, for that one. One more here, and this one is a microfiction jingle.
Microfiction.
I like it.
Fun.
I think that
we
one
needed
works.
that.
Yep. So there you go. Thank you very much, Jonathan F., and welcome to the producers.
Yeah. Welcome to the team.
Next up, we have Marty B. Marty B here has a note. Hey, guys, I was down for 3 or 4 weeks with the Inagadavida variant. Then my studio computer broke down. Probably another virus. But I'm back in action now. Hope this will work for the video clippers. Thanks, Marty B. This is the Clippy Master.
Wait. Doesn't Marty B have his own jingle?
Oh, you're right. He does. Okay, good call. Here we go. Marty B jingle.
Biden's your Marty B jingle.
There we go. We need that.
All right, here we go.
Clipping all those videos. Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
That is so fun.
I love it.
Clipping all the videos. That is, Clippy is a cousin of Flippy. I think we've talked about Clippy before, but now we've got human Clippies clipping the videos. We'll think them later on. Did I lose you?
No, I'm talking to my daughter. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. No worries. Okay. Well, I'll stall for a second. Yes. Remember to go to Canary Cry Clips. It's a YouTube channel. It's an Odyssey channel. Subscribe to both of them. We've got very talented, very hardworking, and very generous human beings who are going through the catalog of shows and doing the new shows, clipping out the segments, making smaller, careable, shareable versions of the show that are available on the Canary Cry Clips YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe to the Canary Cry Clips Odyssey channel. And thank you very much to the Clippers. We will be thanking you later on as well. Why don't you play that Clippy jingle one more time?
Here we go.
Clipping all those videos. Thanks.
It's got that island, fun island feel. I like it.
Good vibes, man. Thank you, Marty B.
Brings me back. All right. That does it for all of the audio production, audio producers. It came in force today.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Time for some art.
One art, please.
And we kick things off with Dame Allie of the Skillet Nation.
One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
And it comes with a poem? Haiku? I don't know.
A lot of haikus. This
Extended
was a haiku extravaganza for you.
Okay, here we go. Susan Wajiki's Family, a haiku collection by Epony Blaze. Susan Wojcicki, patron saint of censorship, content culling queen. Susan's sister Anne founded 23andMe, genetic testing. Mom writes books, teaches high school in Palo Alto, blogs for The Huff Post. Dad born in Poland, head of physics at Stanford, a fellow at CERN. Wow. I did not know that. Polish grandmother, Library of Congress gal, procured Polish books.
And here she is. We've got a beautiful portrait here of Susan Wojcicki by Dame Allie of the Skillet Nation here, looking beautiful. And, of course, you know it. She's got those lizardy eyeballs. Which you could not do what she does if you did not have lizard eyeballs.
Yeah, I like this. This is the haikus here. It's its own little infographic.
Yeah, it's like a
we can
lecture.
We can take this little segment of me just reading that with Susan Wojcicki and make it like a Susan fact sheet,
Oh, Susan fact sheet. I love it. Thank you very much, Dame Allie and Ebony Blaze, for your talents, both.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Sir Dove, Knight of Rusbeltia.
One art piece from Dove.
And it's Monday, so it's 2 art pieces from Dove. Peace, he says. For this week's Bible artwork, I did a design for Matthew 7, verse 15. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. And you want to describe that real quick before we do the other one?
Yeah, but you got a caution tape, like a bunch of caution tape in the background, and we've says false prophets across the top and the bottom, and some very cool font there. Got some eyeballs in the fonts, and in the middle we've got a great picture here. Yeah, it's a wolf looking very mean. With sort of a sheep hat on, with this little tongue hanging out.
Derpy sheep.
Yeah, this is. We might use. We could use this for something.
Yeah, very good. The other one here is from Psalm 126, verse 5. That they that sow in tears shall reap in joy. Hope you guys like and keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for yins. P.S. for Basil.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's very nice of him. I sometimes have trouble reading fancy fonts, and he gave me the interpretations here.
Yes, there you go.
Yes, in this one, we've got a little wormy next to some happy flowers and a sad rain cloud up in the top there. And on the sides, it says, sow in tears, reap in joy. Yes, wonderful. Thank you very much, Sir Dove.
Thank you, Sir Dove. And we have one more from Sir Salmon's Night of the Fishes. It comes with the note. Heyo, guys. Hope you had a great weekend. Got a piece for Monday's show here. Uncle Baz wants you, Canary Cry listener. Step up now and enlist by following the show and leaving reviews. I always get a sad chuckle thinking of how many people miss the show because they love YouTube too much.
Yeah.
Although that pause... Yeah.
There's even some that love YouTube so much that they don't find another platform when we cut them off halfway through the show.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no, I will not betray my beloved Susan.
Although that pause and rewind feature is definitely a plus. Not worth missing the show forever, though. Happy Monday, y'all.
You can do the pause and rewind on Odyssey.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, YouTube is not so powerfil that they are the only platform on live stream.
There are other people that
pause
can do the same thing.
Back and forth, yes.
I'm being told Odyssey only does 15 minutes. Oh, okay. Well. We'll keep looking. If there's any other outlets you guys would like us to stream to, give us an email. We're happy to just stream to wherever.
Do you want to explain this?
Oh, yeah.
Piece here?
Distracted here.
Yeah, you did.
It's an old Uncle Sam wants you style thing here, except for Uncle Sam has a big VR headset with 2 big old googly eyes looking so good. It says, Uncle Baz wants you. Follow the show on multiple platforms, including Odyssey, Rumble, and Twitch. Leave a rating and a review for CCNT Radio on Apple Podcasts and Audible. Do it for your country. do it for me, if nothing else.
There you go.
Thank you very much, Sir Sam. It's wonderful to have you sending in art. Everyone is a true treasure.
Yep, there you go. Okay, time for some microfiction, and we have a jingle for it now.
Yes. Now, hold on.
Okay.
It looks like we're missing a microfiction. Is that truly gone?
Hold on.
Or did that just not get put in there?
Let me double check. There wasn't anything when I checked earlier, but here it is. Oh, no, that's from the 17th, it looks like.
I got one from the 18th here. Let's see here. Was this from, no, yeah, that one's from the 18th. We read that one. Okay, jumping over to Proton Mail. Wow, this might be the first episode in quite a long time that does not include a
microfiction from Rank
Smash. Wow, a historic day, folks. Okay, well, we'll keep an ear out. I did not see a producership come through either, so maybe he is predisposed with something.
Yeah.
So, yes, let's hit that microfiction jingle because we still got one from the Sentinel. microfiction.
Time.
Love it. Thank you very much, the Sentinel, coming in with microfiction here. Skate Say Gans sits back in his chair. His mind wanders back to the 1964 Tokyo Olympics. You Gans can bring honor to the whole team, his coach says softly. But if you fail, you are ugly, horrible person. You know what to do. That day, Gans skated as if his life depended on it. He weaved in and out of his competitors, making his way to the front. His rival, John Grease, was the only thing between him and the gold medal. With samurai speed, he extended his arm and shoved Grease out of the way. Not even the cameras were fast enough to catch the illegal move. Ooh. Oh. As Grease fell to the ground, Gans skated past the finish line with a roar of glory. A gold medal was placed around his neck. In Gans's heart, though, he knew what he had done, and it did not sit well with him. That very moment made a silent vow to pursue a purer form of roller skating. Skate Say Gans. Oh, a dark and checkered past.
This has transitioned from Karate Kid into Cool Runnings. The John Candy character.
Cheated. Sentinel, we're on to you. Yeah, we got I don't think we read it on the show, but yes, we got a message from the Sentinel that confirmed and enjoyed our identification of the Karate Kid storyline. And yeah, I think you called it. This is the Cool Runnings.
The Cool Runnings plot of the John Candy coach character who cheated in the old Olympics there. Yeah. So.
Thank you very much, the Sentinel. Such a pleasure.
Good stuff.
Yes. And yeah, in the last reading, the Sentinel did send a message saying that they did not imagine me to have a whiny voice in those microfictions, but I was just doing the Karate Kid voice. He was pretty whiny.
Right, yeah. Sure.
He was always complaining about something. Thank you very much, the Sentinel, and thank you to all of our creative producers who put their talent into making this show what it is.
Thank you very much. All right. Is that it?
Yes, I'm trying to think. What did we do last time incorrectly that we needed to fix this time?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. So in that case, I will just remind you, go to canarycrystreetteam.com to see some more excellent art from Sir Dove in the forms of flyers that you can download, print out, and hang up around your town. They're really funny. They will catch people's attention and eventually lead them to the show. Go check that out. I think that's all I mentioned there. All right, let's get back to the show.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
I have something here. This is a little unusual for the show. I know it's not a story. It's kind of a mashup of stories. And it was shared on the Anonymous channel. And no, it's not a Ben Shapiro thing. I don't know why the Ben Shapiro thing popped up there. But hold on. What happened to my video? It's gone. It has disappeared.
Oh, no. Malinformation has been purged.
Here we go. This is a montage of the last few, not few, maybe the last couple weeks from different news organizations around the country. This is February 11th in Idaho. A loud boom and flash of light rocked part of Idaho Falls Thursday night. What was it? And you have
authorities are investigating reports of the ground shaking in Cape May County this afternoon.
We begin with the mysterious loud booms heard and vibrations felt across South and Central New Jersey.
You may just be wondering the same thing. What was that sound?
Where people felt the ground shake yesterday, and this one really has people scratching their heads. At this point, it does not appear to be an earthquake, and researchers are still trying to figure out exactly what it was.
The United States Geological Survey says they did not detect any earthquakes in that area, and they don't believe that the shaking or the boom sound was of meteorological origin.
This loud sound is leaving many across the metro area scratching their heads. People from Algiers to Gentilly to St. Bernard Parish say they heard what sounded like an explosion around 11:15 Tuesday night.
just like one big boom.
I heard a loud explosion. It was just a real deep, sounded like a very large explosion. Almost felt a little vibration from it.
Adding to the unusual, other neighbors reported seeing a yellow flash just a few seconds before the noise, like seen here.
It was just scary. All of a sudden, everything was quiet, and then all of a sudden, an explosion, you know?
There were also some reports it could be a meteor, but NASA says there was no significant activity over the New Orleans area. Furthermore, they say there was no scheduled test activity at Stennis Space Center during the time that could account for the noise.
Big boom overnight rocked the west side of Port Arthur. And tonight, many are asking, what was it?
What do you think, Basil? Is this just the news looking for stories to sensationalize military drills or something? Because some of that, living next to Pendleton over here, there are nights when they're testing stuff out there, and they're testing probably explosives or something, and we're miles and miles away, but we feel it. We're like, you hear the rumble, you can sometimes feel the windows shake and stuff.
Yeah, well, and there is the maritime
right, there's an
shooting
island
center out there too, where they will shoot the ship guns.
Right. So it seems to me like what these people are experiencing is similar to that, but the difference is, it's not happening just here in Orange County or California. It's happening all over New Jersey, Texas, New Mexico,
what do people
Idaho.
think it is? Like, what are the theories?
They don't really know. Well, I've seen some people suggest they are blowing up DUMBs, deep underground military bases. Some of the bad rat lines, where the pedo lines are being shut down or something underground.
Sure, yeah.
Other people are saying that, this is it. It's a CERN opening portals. I mean, you can go as wild as you want, but in terms of like an actual thing, I don't know. I mean, to me, it just sounds like military experiments, and they're just maybe doing it in places where they hadn't before, and citizens are experiencing something similar to what we have here, or at least in where I live, where when they do military stuff, you can feel it late at night and stuff.
Well, it's interesting. I'm a little I like the mashup thing, so we can see that it's happening in a lot of places. But the unfortunate part about the mashup thing is that we don't hear what the rest of the report is.
Yeah, no, it comes from a longer video.
The rest of the report might be like, and this spokesperson from the military said, "Whoopsie daisies, sorry for the loud bang."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah. The mashup didn't have any of that. It did have some of the explanations from NASA and, local.
Oh, what are the explanations from NASA?
Oh, it's said in here. The NASA said that there's no meteoric activity and stuff like that. So, who knows? Who knows? But it's interesting because I remember 10 years ago, people were talking about loud booms. And I remember Chris White
it's happened
debunking.
As long as we've been doing our thing.
Yeah, which is why I find it interesting. Chris White had debunked some of the claims because, some people, some of the viral videos at the time, they were faking it. They were just placing a boom sound over whatever and pretending like there was a loud boom. And, Chris White was able to debunk some of those claims. That being said, I know people are hearing things, and again, who knows what's going on, but it's clear that there's no publicly transparent way to know any of it. So
yeah, I
don't know, man. I tend to think military or some kind of because you think about the way I think about it too. Like when you watch movies and stuff, how like stuff happens, things blow up, and it's like you always wonder like where are the people? If it's not like in a public space, it's like do people hear this or So it could be something like that where there's some battles taking place and they're just keeping the collateral damage out of reach, but people can still hear it. So who knows? What do you think? What do you think it is?
I don't know. I don't have any good ideas.
Well, the other part of this that's weird is that the mainstream news is picking up on it. Like there's always a little bit of skepticism for me. I was like, okay, why is it just an interesting story or what is it really?
Part of it is, if you keep in mind the media being sort of a tool of the establishment, keeping the mystery alive for some reason might be, the most beneficial thing. Or
mystery and fear.
Right.
Yeah. So
it
you go.
could have some control aspect to it. Yeah, I just really don't know. That's interesting. I never hear cool stuff like that, man.
Well, I'm interested too because this is a theme that we're seeing now. Is the fear element we're moving on from fear of COVID, and so I feel like they're throwing out a whole bunch of stuff to kind of take the place of that COVID fear.
They certainly are.
The Russia thing is big. Obviously, that's the big narrative. That Ukraine, it's World War III, that whole thing. And Canada, obviously, but that's still kind of COVID, but it's more, it's turned into something more.
Mm-hmm.
And why not? Mysterious booms all over the country.
Just to keep people,
them
distracted, keep them thinking about something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or maybe Russia's invading.
Maybe that is the sound of Russia. It's the sound of Mecha Putin coming out of the abyss.
Mecha Putin and his turbo soldiers. Yeah. All right.
Well, maybe not. But okay, we got one more thing here, and I wasn't going to include this until the very last second, but couldn't avoid it.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Antarctica, go first.
It's a snowstorm. Antarctica. Ice scientists are penguins.
Antarctica, they're opening the abyss.
Is that Alex Jones?
It's a good impression.
The Saxon.
At least.
The Saxon.org has a headline here. What research do Ukrainians do in Antarctica? Kind of mixing all the different elements together.
Why is this being asked? When did this come out? Came out yesterday. So they knew all the Antarctica. Well, I don't know. They knew the Ukrainian stuff in the midst of the Ukrainian crisis.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, let's just do a story on Ukraine and Antarctica. So those dumb Canary Cry boys will pick it up and talk about it on their show. We'll get them really riled up.
What research do Ukrainians do in Antarctica? It says here, thanks to the acquisition...
Sounds like the setup of a joke. Hey, everybody, thanks for being here tonight. We're just going to have some fun here. I'll start off. Hey, what research do Ukrainians do in Antarctica?
Thanks to the acquisition of the icebreaker Noosphere.
Ooh, Noosphere.
Noosphere, the probably first used by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, the Jesuit, in 1925, talking about the global hive mind.
Yeah,
Noosphere.
Nuo being referring to the brain.
The mind, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting name for a project, Ukrainians.
They have a boat. An icebreaker boat called Noosphere.
Yep.
Is it because it breaks your brain?
I don't know. The Antarctic Scientific Program of Ukraine has doubled. On board the ship, scientists will study sea waves, lightning activity, Antarctic pollution, and the chemical composition of bottom sediments. Focus learned why these studies are so important. At the end of January, the newly acquired icebreaker Noosphere set off on its first expedition to Antarctica under the Ukrainian flag. As told by Focus, Evgeny Dikia, director of the National Arctic Center, several teams of scientists work on board the vessel. On the passage across the Atlantic before reaching the coast of Antarctica, 6 scientists will conduct 2 studies on board the icebreaker Noosphere. The first study is radio oceanography. That is the study of sea waves using radio waves. Quote, today there's no high-quality model in the world that allows you to clearly predict what exactly the waves will be like under various weather conditions, although this is very much in demand in shipping. Scientists from all over the world are working on this, and radio oceanography is just one of the methods to improve these models.
Some wave-on-wave action, baby.
The second study is concerning thunderstorm fronts. Ukrainian scientists have been studying planetary thunderstorm activity for a long time, says the director of the Antarctic Center. This is done using 3 antenna complexes. One is installed at the... okay, we got details. Great. An antenna was specially installed on the noosphere, which will take place in the place where the greatest thunderstorms form, which will make it possible.
Translation.
Which will make it possible to obtain new information. Another group of scientists, 15 to 16 people, will board a ship in Chile, where the icebreaker makes a stop. They will also work on board the noosphere for a month.
This is interesting. So in the midst of the Ukraine crisis, the Ukraine being like the center focal point of all geopolitics, at the same time, we've been tracking how recently, Antarctica is seen as this future frontier, A, ideologically, B, capitalistically, and C, geopolitically, where it's not so much just a neutral zone anymore, but it must be colonialized by ideas and countries, not just for science anymore. And so, I'm more fascinated, not so much with the actual content of the story. However, noosphere wave on wave action sounds like something a rabbit hole I could go down. But the media, the messaging here.
Well, there's a couple. There's a few more things here. Quote, now we find in Antarctica something that should not be there at all. Microplastics.
And Ukrainians.
As well as persistent organics from the agricultural sector and pharmacology, pesticides, herbicides, even antipsychotics.
Antipsychotics?
Antipsychotics.
That is an interesting thing for them to mention, because that was a big problem with the drug manufacturers in India, and also connects with the wastewater surveillance we've been keeping track of, which is these antipsychotic drugs. They don't break down. Like, they go into your body, they do their work, whatever they do there, and then you lose them in your waste. It goes into the wastewater, and they don't break down. It's just antipsychotics floating around in the water. And then a lot of cities, they sort of purify the water and put the water back out to, water the plants or whatever. But you follow the watershed all the way to the ocean and inevitably to Antarctica. It makes total sense that you'd find pharmaceutical drugs in the ice frozen down there. That's wild. They found it in fish.
Yeah.
It was like all these fish had all these pharmaceutical drugs in their system.
They must be so stoked.
Yeah, something.
As part of the biological program, scientists will conduct a study of DNA dissolved in water. Thanks to this, it is possible to make a detailed screening, in fact, a census of the ocean, that is, to obtain information about all living creatures living there. Quote, Ukraine was the first in the world to make such a large-scale screening throughout the Black Sea in the Odessa-Batumi Transect, the scientist adds. Geological is a separate area of research. This is translation, man. But this is interesting. Quote, we live in an interesting era when the ocean floor is becoming a serious source for mineral resources. Comments
there it is. There's the resource frontier.
There it is. Quote, from year to year, we expect a revolution in the global gadget market because Japan begins to extract rare earth metals from bottom sediments at a depth of 4 kilometers in the Pacific Ocean. This will completely change the global gadget market because now it is completely tied to just a few deposits of rare earth metals, 80% of which is controlled by China.
Oh my gosh.
Ukrainian scientists do not intend to stay away from such research, therefore are actively involved in the study of bottom sediments of the Southern Ocean.
This is crazy.
This is a resource war. Race.
And it's all around Antarctica. You got Antarctica with Ukrainian scientists. Okay, you got the connection there. You got the pharmaceuticals and pesticides and herbicides and microplastics that they're finding. Of course, lots of weird stuff connected there. And then, you got the technocracy, the global gadget market's going to be exploding. And so we need these rare earth metals from somewhere. We might as well get them from the bottom of the ocean in Antarctica, and which happens to already be controlled by China. Oh, good. Antarctica is really just shaping up. That article we read the other day about Antarctica being the place for Armageddon to take place.
Right.
This is really starting to shape up. Plus, you're going to have all these penguins on antipsychotics, these Nephilim penguins all doped up down there. Maybe that's the plan.
Oh,
Maybe that's the big plan altogether.
Doped up Nephilim penguin.
You got to dope.
Wow.
They're having trouble moving into the frontier that is Antarctica because of the ancient dark forces of the Nephilim penguins. And so they, are getting the antipsychotics in the water to freeze into the ice, absorbed through the feet of the penguins to calm down the enemy so they can move in and start mining the ocean floor. It's all coming together, baby.
It's all coming together. This is, what it feels like? It's as if like the New World Order overlords. Mm-hmm. We're kind of like, okay, we're controlling everything here, and we're about to unleash a new landmass for the world to compete over.
It's like in a video game when you unlock the new
zones. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And now we have this, and it's a resource race to see who can take stake for the next phase of the creation of the New World Order. So
you look out, Nephilim penguins, we're coming for you.
And Ukraine moving in that direction. Is this is Ukraine doing the research on behalf of all of the West team West, which includes the U.S. and Biden? Maybe not.
Maybe not. Who's to say? Wow. Yeah, that is very interesting. Okay, well, there you go, folks. That's why you tune into the show. Maybe that has something to do with the big booms we're hearing everywhere.
Yeah, there you go. They're drilling new tunnels to Antarctica.
Well, and the weird stuff about Antarctica and the South Pole and the magnetic, fields and the access to the higher sort of layers of the atmosphere. Maybe these big booms are just sort of like signals that are coming from noosphere, the mind ship.
Yeah, like a reshifting of the electrical currents to because
noosphere is shooting off these radio waves into the ocean. It's bouncing off gold deposits, pinging up, getting caught in the magnetosphere, and transferring that energy to places in the Midwest. Apparently,
I can imagine. Because Elliot Marzulli always talks about in the pre-flood world they had an internet, but it was based on more sort of not the kind of technology we have, but it's more based on stones and electromagnetic energy and harnessing that and stuff like that. And if that is the case, because he always talks about an ancient web, like a network, could the North and South Pole be energy centers to help create that worldwide network?
I'm pretty sure that somebody would agree with that.
Yeah.
I wonder, okay. Oh, sorry. I was just thinking about something else. That was almost entirely unrelated.
Good.
Well, so somebody was just asking, where does one get this article? And I was about to tell you again, as we do, that you can sign up to our newsletter at canarycry.party, and we send out all of our sources once a week to the 3 shows of the previous week.
It's about once every 2. It's adding up to be once.
It's been slowing down.
Yeah, it's a little.
I was just considering whether or not if we just added that into our end of show process and just sent them out directly after the show, if that would be more helpful. Because if you want an article right after you hear the show, or if the podcast listeners, listen to the podcast the day after the live and then want to read the article, and then it would already be in their inbox. I'm a little afraid that would be too many emails, though.
And people would starting to add up.
People would get upset that we're sending them 3 emails a week or more. But you know what? I guess maybe if that's the case, then if they don't want our emails, they can just unsubscribe. Anyways, we'll discuss that.
Work on that.
That might actually be easier just to pop that in an email real quick and shoot it off rather than
probably is
trying to make special time. All right. We'll probably give that a try. Don't get angry at us if we send you an email after the show. But at least you'll have the articles you want and need immediately instead of having to wait 2 weeks.
We're no better than the Faucis and all the politicians. We say one thing and then we do another a few weeks later. We're like, we will never spam you. And then a few weeks later, we're like, we're spamming you.
It's not spam. A lot of people sign up specifically for. No, I'm just saying, in case anybody out there doesn't know you're joking.
Oh, okay.
You sign up to the newsletter specifically to get these things. And it would probably be more useful to get them in a timely fashion.
Right.
Okay, well, there's a little production meeting at the end of the show there, and I think we're good to go.
Let's thank thank the timestampers real quick here.
Let's do it.
Timestampers Jackie U for Monday. Oh, and okay, well, I'm just reading the list. Friday's episode, which was episode 448, was done by Christine C. So thank you very much, Christine C. Yes. And thank you to all the timestampers. It's hard work.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
That's right. And I would like to thank our clip producers. Of course, there's producer Emsworth. Thank you very much. Producer Faye Liverin has gotten right to work, which we appreciate. And we do have another clip producer who came on board, and that is producer Epsilon. So thank you very much to Emsworth, Faye Liverin, and Epsilon for cutting these clips so we can post them onto the YouTube channel. Remember, you can follow Canary Cry Clips on YouTube as well as Odyssey to get your nice, beautiful little shareable segment clips of the show. These videos run anywhere from like 3 minutes to, sometimes they're a half hour, depending on the length of the segment. But it's much easier to watch those short little things if you want to go back, re-listen to a piece of information, re-listen to an analysis, or share them on your social media, things like that. So again, thank you very much to the Clippers.
Clipping all those videos.
Thanks.
I love our list. It sounds like we sound like our own, I don't even know, Emsworth, Faye Liverin, Epsilon. It's just like, whoa, man, who's on this team?
It's a cool team, man.
A cool team. All right.
You want to talk meetups?
Let's do meetups.
Canary Cry Meetups.
Go to canarycrymeetups.com. Look at the new format. So clean. Thank you,
new and
Basil.
Improved. Thank you. Yes,
Basil cleaned it up.
I got in there to put a little bit of the Basil magic on it. A little bit easier to navigate canarycrymeetups.com now.
Yeah. So you gotta want to start a meetup. Here's what you do: choose a location, figure out a date and time, make a flyer, and promote it. Upcoming meetups. I believe we just had the Zoom meetup that Ciara leads every third Saturday of the month. It's 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. I heard it was a very good one this past Saturday. So you'll have to wait till next month if you want to join in. But you can email Ciara. All the contact information is there at canarycrymeetups.com. She's also leading the Washington meetup scheduled for March 19th, 2022 at 12 p.m. So contact Ciara if you want to know more. There's also the East Texas meetup, which has been moved to April 30th of 2020. Is it still at the Dangerfield State Park?
That is the brand new the flyer that is up there is the new flyer that they sent me.
Perfect. Great. So Dangerfield State Park, 11 a.m. on April 30th, 2022. Contact Cool Runnings Mon, and you can find the contact information right there on canarycrymeetups.com. And we have a new one. We have a new meetup scheduled here. San Diego, California, April 23rd.
San Diego
2022, and we have a flyer. San Diego meetup Saturday, April 23rd, Bergen Brewery, Carlsbad, California. Let's meet up with fellow Canarians that are fighting the good fight in crazy California. And it's got a picture of this crazy palm tree, wild palm tree. Looks like Sideshow Bob from.
It's such a San Diego picture. I laughed when I looked at it.
Yeah. So there you go, and that's producer Meredith, the boxing mouth guard producer.
Oh yeah, you got to get your mouth guard, man.
I need to finish shows earlier so I can go back to boxing. That's part of the plan here.
We've been doing pretty good. Have you not made a boxing since we did our thing?
I haven't.
Well,
it's been real close, but yes, it's been
real
unable to make it. Yeah.
Okay, well let's get out of here then.
Okay.
I want to. Is that it for meetups?
That's it for meetups. Yep.
Okay. See you at the meetup, everybody.
See you at the meetup. Yes. Oh, wow. You're not going to talk about it at all.
That's a good point. No, I think people get it. But, just go to canarycrymeetups.com. Go to a meetup. It's very important. Feels good. Make some friends. Make some apocalypse buddies. And if there's not one near you, put one on yourself. Super easy. Just send us the info. We'll tell people about it, and then people will show up. It's super easy. See, all these people did it. You can do it. Okay. Now, I do want to give some quick shout outs to people who are sharing the show on social media. I'm going to set up a little social media aggregator because I am not going on Facebook to see who's sharing the show there. But I do want to give a big old thank you to Return of the Bald Knox on Twitter at Big OMP Fan for tweeting last episode out. Appreciate that. We also had The Light in This Dark World on Twitter at The Light in This One. Number one. Go follow these folks. These are, these are Canarians, support Canarians, listen to what they have to say, and they're tweeting about our show. So that's one thing that you have in common. So that's great. Thank you to both of you for sharing either clips of the show or the episode links to the show. Thank you to everybody who tweets about us. But if you, share a piece of the show from like Canary Cry clips on your Twitter or your Facebook or whatever, or if you share out links to the episodes, something to just get it out there. I'd love to thank you on the show and let other Canarians to know to follow you. So there you go. Take advantage of that. If you're looking to connect with more Canarians, that's a good way to do it. Share the show, and then I will tell them to follow you, and we'll see what happens. But yes, remember, you can tweet out either, links to the episode that people can jump on, or tweet out a video from the Canary Cry Clips channel. So it'll play right there on the tweeters. Okay. I'll set up a little aggregator so I can look at other social medias without having to go into the quagmire of Facebook or whatever. Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it. We did it.
I think that's it. Yeehaw! Wow, pretty good time today. All right, folks. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We'll be back on Wednesday, where the debate will continue to rage on about the Wednesday jingle.
Ooh,
we're having so much fun. Yes, the 23rd of February. So be prepared. Turn on your notifications, and if you haven't yet, you should sign up for our direct text alert system. We have been experiencing for a long time, but it hasn't gotten any better, the soft censorship of lack of notifications going out from the big tech platforms, especially YouTube, but others as well. It's hard for people to catch live streams because they don't know about it, because the platform is not sending them notifications. So before every single episode, we'll be sending out a text message to our text message list that you can join by texting the word canary to the phone number 877-740-3226. You'll see it on your screen if you're watching the video. That's 877-740-3226. Text canary. It'll automatically put you on our list. And we don't send out any text messages besides notifications to the show. So it's a good way to just know right when we're going. Today, I sent out the alert 15 minutes before, and we did pretty dang good at keeping that time. I think we started like 20 minutes, but people knew. People got the message. So there you go. Do that. It's super cool. And we'll be back on Wednesday with episode 450. That's some sort of cool number, I guess. It's at least half of
900.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Half of 900. I was going to say halfway from 400 to 500. Man, we're going to be at 500 episodes in no time at all.
Wow.
Yeah, so 450. We will need producers for that episode. It's the only way this show continues. So if you get any value out of it, you want to become a part of the team, you want to get your, name read on the show and get the producer credit. Remember, producer credit is real credit. This is not some cutesy gimmick. You can put it on your LinkedIn, put it on your resume, whatever you want. As a producer of the podcast. Being a producer of a podcast actually means something today. It used to not mean anything, but now podcasts are so mainstream that, podcast producer is kind of a cool thing to have on your resume. Okay, there you go. Yes. Oh, yeah. Support the show. You can do that by heading to patreon.com/CCNT or even better, canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right, canarycryradio.com/support. And I do want to thank the producers of this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. These are the folks that you must thank. You must pray for them. You must think of them whenever you listen to the show, because if it weren't for them, there would be no show. Whoopsies. I'm start out with our executive producer, Oogly Boogly. Thank you very much, Oogly Boogly. Glad to have you on the team. Our supply drop producers, Lucas M., Maureen Believes, and Michael R. Thank you guys so much for your commitment to keeping the show going. And we hope you like this supply drop coming next month. Remember, only 7 more days to sign up, folks. And thank you to the rest of our producers. Morv, Palmer B, JC, Heather Soros, Sir Sigurd the Beast, Naomi Q, Gail M, Joshua M, Ernesto Q, Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, Jack V, Robert T, Sheree H, Jason G, Puddin22, Child of God, Jackie U, Veronica D, Sir Casey the Shield Knight, and Doctor Who Done Dat. And of course, thank you to our audio producers, our art producers, our clip producers, our microfictionists. Man, what a team it takes to make this show what it is. We appreciate it very, very much. But, like I said, there's lots of ways to produce the show. You can produce it with your art and your music and your thoughts and your creativity of all kinds. If you want to send something in for us to feature on the show, send it to canarycryradio@gmail.com or canarycryradio@protonmail.com. We'd love to put it on the show. If you want to become a producer of the show, but you don't have any cash to spare, or you don't have any talents like art or music or something like that, but you just want to be part of the team, let us know. Send us an email at canarycryradio@gmail.com. Tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe your work history or your skills or your interests. I guarantee that we have something for you, folks. I guarantee it. We've had a couple people reach out recently, and we have put them to work doing something so cool. A bunch of stuff so cool. And these are just people who said, hey, I love the show. I want to be a part of it. How can I get involved? They let us know about themselves. I don't want to give it away right now, but these producers are heroes. They will go down in Canary Cry Hall of Fame for the work that they are putting in for us. And I'm not saying like you got to devote your 40 hours a week or anything. A lot of these people are, just have 1 hour a week that they're putting into helping us out. So if that's you, send us an email. Do it. Let's see here. Yeah. Other than that, share the show. Share it out on your social media. If you share a link to the show or a video of a clip, I'll be sure to thank you here on the show. But other than that, it's just very important to get it out there. I know some people may think, I don't have a lot of followers. It doesn't matter. Nobody listens to me. that may be true. I don't know your life. I don't know your situation. But I do know that it's incredibly helpful for us to have those links floating around for the algorithms. Again, it seems kind of abstract, but the more links and talk there is about the show, just sort of the inner workings of the the mechanisms of the internet, the more Canary Cry gunk is like in the gears, the more people will find the show, quote unquote, organically. It'll just come across them. That's come across their feed or whatever. And that's mainly because of the algorithms. And it's all about those algorithms, baby. So you can share the show out. Of course, your friends, your family, all those types of people would love to listen to a show that has been on the bleeding edge of this science throughout the pandemic. Things that the New York Times is reporting now, we've been talking about for years. And it's a good opportunity. There is a shift happening. People in your life are getting sort of the cognitive permission to question the narrative. And they are more open than ever to listening to a show like this. But you don't got to share it a regular way. You can be a little bit more creative. There's all sorts of ways to share the show. And, one of my favorite things to do is to give creative ideas to all of those eccentric billionaires out there with unlimited resources and time on their hands and a passion for getting the truth out there. And I just recently heard about a wonderful vessel, billionaires and their love for yachts. We've talked about the Apocalypse Escape yacht, the space yacht. We've talked about all sorts of boats. Rich people love boats. We know this. But there's another boat in town, folks, and it's here to blow your space yacht out of the water, figuratively. Or otherwise. And that's Noosphere, baby. Noosphere, the premier Ukrainian science vessel, getting on down to the Antarctic Sea, blasting those waves with some other waves for some cool Antarctic wave-on-wave action. That's right, blasting radio waves out of the antenna right there on that big, beautiful boat. And just seeing what bounces back, recording the data, baby. How do those waves work? I don't know. But thankfully, the Ukrainian noosphere is here to stay. And if you got $1 billion, I'm sure they'll rent you a space. They'll give you a bunk on the noosphere. And if you pay a couple $1 billion, they might even let you drive the dang thing. So that's what you're going to do. You got to get in real tight with those Ukrainians. I got a buddy, Hunter Biden. He'll hook you up with some leads over there.
Oh, great.
Maybe his dad, too, might be able to give you some numbers to get in touch with the owners, the proprietors, the beloved and pitiful, hungry, scrawny little Antarctic scientists that, these poor guys are just living their whole life down there in the cold, blasting waves with other waves. And they would love to have you on board, driving that ship around, blasting the waves. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to work your way into the system. Going to get on the boat. They're going to let you drive the boat, even if it's just for 10 minutes or so. And then there's going to be a little switch to the left. Okay. Oh, sorry. I always mix it up. The switch. Do not click the switch to the left. Oh, don't do that. But you should switch the what did I say? The switch to the right. That's the one. It has a little antenna icon next to it. Just click that little sucker. That'll give you complete control of the wave blaster. Oh yeah, that noosphere wave blaster, baby. You're going to point that sucker straight up into the sky. You got to get these waves up into the magnetic magnetosphere so you can just launch some sounds. You know how they're doing with the big booms being heard all over the world, all over the country. Those are just shock waves from the sounds that are getting blasted down in the Antarctic. Well, you're going to point that little wave cannon right up into the sky, baby. Wait for one of those big old solar flares to blast a nice wave of waves. You blast your wave into those waves, and then your waves are going to surf on those waves, and they're going to land in random places around the world, around the country, when people are like, whoa, what's that big boom? I've been hearing big booms for years. It must be the military doing secret Chinese experiments, but not today, because in your wave, you've got your iPhone hooked up to the Bluetooth there in Noosphere, and you're blasting some Canary Cry news talk. And then all around the world, people living their lives looking into the sky, wondering if there's something more to their life and if there's some modicum of truth, feeling the imprisonment of the mainstream legacy corporate news controlling the narrative and information flow in order to take control of their physical and emotional lives. But suddenly, from the sky, a wave surfing another wave comes crashing down. And what do they hear? Oh, they hear the sweet, sweet sound of mainstream corporate news analysis and deconstruction. It's Canary Cry News Talk, baby, coming straight down from the heavens, riding a wave on another wave from the Antarctic vessel Noosphere. The Ukrainians were at the center of it the whole time, folks, and because of them, and because of you, dear quirky billionaire, listening to this show, tons more people will hear the truth. And that's what we want, right? That's what this is all about, because we'll hit some sort of critical mass and usher in an age where people will realize that they've been lied to for far too long. We like to call it rattling cages, and if you need any other instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to them, grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Gonz, any last words?
Go read the book of Lamentations and put it side by side with the headlines coming out of Canada.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I think you'd find some interesting patterns.
The Lord be with you. And just a quick shout out. If you haven't done it yet, you should join the Discord channel. Go over to canarycry.party. You'll see a link, an invite link to the Discord channel. You can click on that, or go ahead and maybe Adam will throw an invite link into the chat right now. Anywho, lots of action going on at the Discord channel. Seems to be a cool spot, and I think if we're smart enough, there may be a way for us to integrate the Discord chat into the show chat. So considering that, Odyssey and a couple of the other platforms do not integrate with the show chat, maybe the Discord chat's the way to go. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk, everybody. Make sure to tune in next time, but until then, think outside the cage.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
The cosmos, children in the space lane.
I'm an adult in a spaceship.
Supersonic space plane screamed to life, and the vehicle swooped upward. On board, the passengers experienced a 3 Gs of force from the burst of extreme acceleration and watched the blue sky fade into space.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Oh, yeah.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Yes. Do it, Richard. Yes. Do it, Jeff. Do it. Do it. Do it for humanity.
To all you kids down there, I was once a child with a dream.
Now I'm an adult in a spaceship.
He can accomplish it. You can too. Big windows, cool. Rocket ship, cool. Space plane, cool.
Nukes,
Cool.
Blowing stuff up.
Cool. Space plane. Astronaut. Rocket ship.
ABS anchor.
We have Bezos. He's a human. Just look at him. Go to the bathroom in bags. He can go to the bathroom in the cosmos. It changed everything. Wives in space. Children in the cosmos. With your best friend brother. Wives in the cosmos. Children in the space plane.
We are headed to space.
ABS anchor.
It's COVID-19, 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 COVID-19,
COVID-19.
COVID-19, 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 come down. COVID-19, 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 COVID-19,
Jesus. Crawl on your belly. Standing in the office of the prophet of God. In the Garden of Eden. I execute judgment on you, COVID-19. I execute judgment on you, Satan. You destroyer. You killer. You get out. We break your power. You get off this nation. I demand judgment on you. I demand a vaccination to come immediately. I call you done. No more. I call you gone. You come down.
What are we going to do?
Burn.
In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came to be through him, and nothing was made without him. That which has been made was life in him, and the life was the light of men. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness shall not overcome it. He was in the world that he had created, yet the world did not know him. He even came to his own people, and they did not accept him. But to all who do receive him, who believe in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. They will not be born of flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. Although no one has ever seen God, the only Son who is at the Father's side has made him known to us. Unless one is born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. But, you ask, how can a man be born when he is old? I tell you the truth. Unless one is born of the Spirit, he cannot enter the kingdom of God. That which is born of the flesh is flesh. Do not marvel when I say you must be born from above. I speak of what I know, and I bear witness to what I have seen. But you do not accept our testimony. If I tell you earthly things and you do not believe, how will you believe heavenly things? No one has ascended into heaven except he who descended from heaven, the Son of Man. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up, that whoever believes in him may have eternal life. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life. For God did not send his Son to condemn the world, but in order that the world might be rescued through him. Whoever believes in him will not be condemned, but whoever rejects him is judged already, because they have not believed in the name of the Lord. The Son does nothing of his own accord, but only what he sees the Father doing. For whatever he does, that the Son does likewise. As the Father raises the dead and gives them life, so also the Son gives life according to his will. Truly I say to you, whoever hears my word and believes him who sent me has eternal life. He does not come into judgment, but has passed from death to life. For an hour is coming, and is now here, when the dead will hear the word of God, and those who hear will live. For as the Father has life in himself, so also does the Son have life in himself. The time is coming when all the dead will hear his voice and come out. Those who have been upright will rise to life, and those who have been wicked will rise to condemnation. The very works that I am doing bear witness that the Father has sent me, and the Father himself has borne witness about me. His word does not abide in you, for you do not believe the one whom he has sent. You search the Scriptures because you think that in them you have eternal life. They are the very thing that testify of me, yet you refuse to see. I have come in my Father's name, and you do not accept my word. But if another comes in his own name, you will receive him. How can you embrace the glory from one man to another, and not seek the glory of the Most High God?
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on. You're fat and sassy in my people's zoo. I'll make you fat and sassy in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths!